What?
You just unplugged it. It's working. Well, Max, you're getting volume level.
That's a C, isn't it?
I got another cable.
Okay, we're going to see if we can find a better cable.
Now it just went out.
Well, that's because I just unplugged it.
Okay.
I'm using the big high dollar cable now.
Now it came back on.
What? Okay.
No delay.
Hold on. You know what it is?
What? Oh, you're using the microphone off the...
It's. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
You know what? I think the two of them maybe somehow they're canceling each other out.
Well, turn one off. Turn
well,
the microphone from the video
let's just leave this. If you
that
can hear me,
much
okay.
Better video. Audio.
Yeah, I'm watching you on TV, and you got sound. You're talking. I can hear what you're saying.
Okay, this is the microphone on the back of the camera that he's hearing because this is unplugged.
Yeah, I understand.
Okay, we'll try this other microphone. Can you hear me clearly?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll check this one out real quick with a better cable. Okay, first off, 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's the mic off. Mic, it's not worth worrying about. We ain't making warranties.
Shack's out of business, isn't it?
Yeah. How come I'm not?
Now you came on. You just came on the screen.
What I don't understand is how come I'm not on the iPad?
Why did your screen pause?
Oh, great. We got a lockup.
Well, I can hear you on TV now.
Okay, audio we got.
Okay, hold on.
Now the picture just went out.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's frozen. Hang on, I got a fix for that. Okay, stand by. Image slide. No, that's not what I want.
All right, you just came off the screen.
Yeah. Hang on, video capture. Okay, we're back.
There we are.
You basically have to shut it down and restart it.
Okay, pointed. Hey.
Okay, now you're back.
Okay.
All right, now you're working.
Can I see you?
Okay, so let's put the video and really scare the heck out of him. It'll make me big. Ken, you want to get in the picture a little bit?
Sure. Let me scooch over there.
If the whole screen goes blank or hear a crashing sound, that's me trying to make some room here.
Boy, I'm glad I didn't travel to Florida for this.
You are. More than you know.
You are missing everything, Steve. Move your foot. Ow.
Okay. Guys, first... Okay, can you hear me now? Okay, we got everything. Okay, first...
Here.
What, you...
Can't see Ken. Oh, there he is.
Well, good God, looking at my literal navel gazing. Okay, there we go. All right.
Hi, Steve.
Hi, Ken.
So, guys, I made a big video for the beginning here that was going to be the intro video, using pictures I took with Mike Machat. Just stop. There. Better. Fine. Anyway, so here's the short story. And other lies that I tell, I'm going to tell a short story. Since when? The only time I tell a short story is when they cut the mic.
Crazier things have happened.
Yeah. Okay. Without getting into details, things happened at work, and I'm actually supposed to be flying back from Albany right now to Orlando. But yesterday things happened on the flight from California to Florida, and we wind up timing out. That's all that matters. So they basically couldn't use us. They gave me the day off. So I got to ride the Bright Line train. That's kind of a story in its own right. They just started a van service from the airport to the train station, which I didn't know they had. It's $10, by the way. It's not. I thought it was complimentary. Huh? Imagine my surprise. I rode the Bright Line from Lauderdale to West Palm, which is about 45 minutes. And Ken picked me up and brought me up here. We're in Fort Pierce, right?
Yes.
Fort Pierce. Why I want to keep saying Port St. Lucie. But anyway, so we went out on his boat today. I got a bunch of pictures on my phone. I will be posting a video later about it. But I was going to put all the stuff on OBS because... Oh, why am I not showing it on my... You know what? Let me close all this out and open up YouTube and news. Somehow it's just...
I got it going to your...
Here it is. Okay.
Close all this out.
Okay. So now I'm going to turn this off and you can just read the comments to me. Anyway, so what happens is we got on the boat, got a lot of great pictures. Now, in the past month or so, I've been to the Museum of Science and Industry and been on the U505. Went out with Mike Machat this weekend and was at the Queen Mary. And I put together, Mike and I did another Honest Mike commercial and everything I might be able to get it loaded up here. When we got here and got done, got cleaned up and everything, because we went on Ken's boat today, I figured it was going to be a boat show. And I don't know how much detail to go into.
As much as we
couldn't, from Ken's computer, I wanted to switch my YouTube channel to make his computer authorized, and I couldn't remember my Google password. Now, anyone who's ever had that problem, I don't have to speak any other truth, because you know what happened next. It took me, what, 2 hours?
Easily.
I wound up accidentally creating an entirely different account. All kinds of nightmares. And like 5 minutes before I flipped this thing on, we got access to my YouTube channel remotely from here. But then the OBS system that I do the live streams with, which he does have on his computer, wasn't seeing it, and we had to go through tutorial videos to get it all set up again, and then we didn't have a chance to actually get anything downloaded in here to show. And I don't want to show pictures on my phone up against the camera. But so we just pulled all of this out of our rumpuses at the last minute. I had a much bigger, grandiose thing, which probably next week, by the way, I'm off for like 10 days, so we should have a Saturday night live stream next week. We might even have another one tomorrow night when I'm back home where I can show you all the cool stuff. But so that's why everything is a little more Bush League than normal, which, given how Bush League my live streams are, that's saying something. I mean, you guys are literally witnessing half of our tech support right here.
This is all of it.
But because some of the stuff I had today was just funny. You want to see something funny? Me getting in a dinghy.
Oh, yeah.
I think the only thing that was funnier was me getting out of the dinghy.
Even funnier would be you falling out of a dinghy.
Funny you should mention that.
It came close.
No, I didn't. It just looked that way because I have an off center of gravity. Actually, I have a very center of gravity. It's just inertial roll coupling. Anyway, so we actually, now Ken's boat is moored. Let's see here. Just what the heck? Why not?
Why
because
not?
we can.
Give it a shot.
Yeah.
Can't hurt anything.
Okay, pictures. Let's see. Ken's boat is moored out on a moor, on a mooring, and that thing cannot really focus on that, can it?
Well, that's too close.
That's, yeah. Is there a way I can see if you can figure out a way to get this in there?
Great resolution on that.
Yeah, that's a beauty, eh? Anyway, well, cameras have trouble with things that emit light.
You got a C on there, right?
I got a what?
Micro C?
Yeah, C.
Where
No, this not here. It's got to go in. Oh.
Take that microphone cable and plug it in there, and then you should be able to copy pictures off.
No, that doesn't have a C. That has the regular USB on the computer.
On the computer, but you got a C here, right?
Yeah, right.
Okay, well, that went into the microphone. That had a C, so that should plug into here too.
Well, this one's.
I use it.
Now let's
for
see what
transferring
happens.
data.
All right, hold on. I mean, that is the way to do it, but okay.
And you got my chair too. I got to sit in this old falling apart
Give me that.
Tom Fox
other
wants to
one.
know, Ken, if that's your daughter's bedroom.
No, it's
No.
all. You can't, guys can't see it. Ken's. This was full of broken. Everything here are P38 parts for the.
Oh, it's back here.
Oh,
Use that cable.
we've got all of it. It's P38, but most of it's P38s in these boxes. And
Actually, several copies. I'm trying to figure out which one's the best one to use.
yeah, nice thing about it is he keeps making parts. Oh, maybe I can download this.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see how this goes. I got to create a file to put it in first. It normally won't go straight from the phone. So anyway, yeah, you want to see something funny? Me trying to get in and out of that dinghy and getting, but. Okay, see, new folder. I'm just going to call this 123 because this is the 123rd live stream.
So anyway, this was. We were concerned about Max's ability to be able to get into the dinghy in the first place.
I never had a doubt. Never had a doubt.
Well,
What they were afraid of was when I jumped in the dinghy, they maybe could both go flying out.
Debbie just said
No
we were afraid it
comments
was
from the
gonna,
peanut gallery.
Debbie just said we were afraid it was going to sink.
I think they heard.
Well, it definitely rode a little bit lower in the water after he got in. That's for sure.
You never had it so good.
We sat on my son and I sat on one side and he sat on the other.
Garfield says this is like watching Birds and Shriver.
Yeah, it's got that vibe to it, to be sure. Okay. Oh, here we go. Okay. Let's find. Oh, here we go. All right. You know what? Let's do it this way. Let's go that all the way up to. I'm going to load your camera with pictures, Ken, whether you likes it or not.
At least we got it hooked up so you can get
And
it
the
out of
look
there.
of pain on your face is just.
Don't confuse pain with stark terror.
Oh, and it gets better. After we got to the boat, Max is sweating so much because he wore long pants.
Oh, you're going to tell? I'm not going to show him the picture.
No, that would break the camera.
There would be eyebrows burning in New Zealand.
That would break the internet probably. Anyway, so he gets on the boat and Max says, "Okay, I'm too hot. I gotta take my pants off."
Oh, hold on. You left the part where I said I got to take my shirt off.
Oh, that was already off. Yeah. So
There's a visual. You really need to be building that brick wall in your mind right now.
so he's running around in these black skivvies. And I said, "Max, I got a towel downstairs. How about if you use that and spare
I was wearing boxer briefs. They look like a bathing suit.
Thank God, because if you were going to tell me you were wearing a Speedo, I was going to turn this off.
If I was, you wouldn't be able to see it. But anyway, I couldn't let that one go. That was shaving a haircut 2 bits. But yeah, so there I am going full Hawaiian, with just a little, basically the cloth grass skirt on, walking around. I'm like, of course, we're out in the middle of nowhere. Ken made me stay in the cabin. That sounded wrong. I did not mean that.
for the safety of everybody
For
else.
the safety of all the other, you didn't want to get banned from the marina.
Because occasionally people went by in their boats.
And what? Tell me about the guy. Tell me about the Mustang.
You
Last night.
You saw more of that than I did.
Okay, Ken and I are coming back, and it's drizzling a little bit, but it's not really bad weather.
After I picked him up.
We're going northbound on 95, just north of the exits to West Palm, and we're in the far right lane, and the far left lane is one of these big crew cab, super deluxe, kind of dark burgundy pickup trucks. And he's doing the stereo, the mandatory 10 over or whatever, the obligatory 10 over, like everybody else. This red Mustang goes flying by him, cuts in front of him, and I don't know if I think the car in front of them may have slowed up, but that Mustang pulls into the truck's lane, but he's nowhere near being all the way in front of him, and it's a first class like pit smash, right? The Mustang is getting pushed sideways by the truck. I mean, I saw this before it happened. And I remember thinking, that Mustang, what's he doing? He's not in front of the truck. He's changing lanes. He's going to hit the truck. And he plows into that truck almost like he was trying to run the truck into the guardrail.
And then the Mustang goes sideways.
Goes sideways up on two wheels. It did not roll, though.
No, it did not.
It did not roll. But that truck plowed the crap out of it. The truck makes a turn. The Mustang ends up going from about 90 to 0 in about 4 seconds, and is sideways in the road, tore apart.
And scraped the barrier.
It was. The spark show. This was some John Wick stuff. And
did you stop for parts?
Well, we stopped to call the Popo. I had Ken pull over. He was giving me a feed. I went and look on his phone for our position. I'm calling 911 because I figure somebody's going to the hospital after this one, right? And Ken saw someone get out of the truck and go look at what happened.
Not very far.
Yeah, and then jump in the truck, and he just hit and run, baby. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, you're not even at fault. Now, he may have been intoxicated or something. He wasn't hanging around for the police to show up, so a couple other cars pulled over, too, and then the police were there really quick. I think the guy just happened to be on patrol.
Probably.
He may not even been a local cop because we saw a couple of police officers, like driving up from other jurisdictions. But anyway, so once we got all the information to the Highway Patrol 911 dispatcher, she said, "Okay, units," and we went on our way. But we were debating what was going on, but it was quite the show. That was a Hollywood kind of stuff.
Yeah, that was something you don't get to see every day.
Okay.
So we have any scary images for him?
Here we go. Let's go there. Okay, guys, I've got some pictures downloaded for you. Stand by to have your eyelids melted. Remember, you asked for this.
Get the children out of the room.
Okay. Let's see. First off, we'll start off with a good picture of your boat. Here we go. That's a pretty good one.
Yeah, that's good.
Now I got to do the whole fit to screen thing. This thing always blows them up real big. Transform, fit to screen. Okay, there's Captain Ken's boat. And
there she is.
If we take a break, I can run now. I've got the intro. I can probably upload the intro and play it at some point. But anyway,
do it when you take a
okay.
potty break.
Yeah, or at the end.
That too.
But and there's the dinghy that he dinghies out to his boat with. Let me expand that just a little bit.
Now, how did you get that? If we were supposed to be in the dinghy?
No. That's when you guys were leaving.
Oh.
Okay, we had to go dockside so he could hook it up to power, and I decided to stay dockside when they went back because what you were talking about earlier was I got into the dinghy off the dock and got onto the boat from the dinghy, and then got off the boat onto the pier without doing anything.
Which was highly entertaining,
but nothing too comical. But I realized getting back on the boat, and then going out and getting on the dinghy, and then coming back to that was creating 3 more opportunities for disaster.
Because if you fell out of the boat, we just have to.
And because don't forget, my pocket's got my wallet, my cell phone. If I go in the drink,
no, we took all that out.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
But if he fell in the water, his chances of getting back in the dinghy would be pretty.
They pretty much have probably had to tow me to shore like a Flint's whale
and just tow him.
Just tow him back. Manatee under tow. Wake zone. So anyway, I decided to stay dockside and sit in the air conditioning. Besides, I had to, and I didn't want to do that on your boat.
That's a hazardous waste dump.
Yeah. And so anyway, but it also allowed me to get some nice footage, some nice pictures of the boat and everything. Speaking of boats,
he was going to take that. Didn't you take a video of us leaving?
Yeah.
He was going to do a video.
I don't know if I downloaded the video yet.
Come back.
I forgot to do that. Shane. Let's see. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe I did get it.
What's
Let's
that?
see. You guys pulling away.
Oh, the video. Well, show them the pictures.
Oh, there is one thing I thought I would show you guys that was...
Did you take some pictures on the boat?
Yeah, I took a picture of this. Oh, yeah, we'll get to all that.
Where's the one with you and the towel?
Oh, man, I'm not going to show them that. My God, we'll wind up... I'm not sure, but I think it's a war crime.
It's a hilarious.
I'm looking for the one where we first...
He put his shirt.
Oh, here we go.
He put his shirt back on for that one.
No fishing, no netting, so I can't wear my fishnet stockings.
What? Did it play?
I don't know. Something played.
Oh, man.
Just showed the sign.
Oh, so it did play.
Did I?
No fishing, no netting, so I can't wear
Oh,
my
there's
fishnet
no audio on it. Okay. What it says is... Okay.
No fishing, no netting. So
It says no fishing, no netting, and I made the comment I can't wear my fishnets. Let's see.
This is how Spielberg got started.
Oh yeah, sure it is. Let's see. And I got all the 3-hour tour comments, guys. And they were all here. We go. Here we go.
Yeah, lots of 3-hour tour.
Oh, that's right. This thing runs at a lower speed because you're not set up like we.
I'll see you guys after the 3-hour tour.
Anyway, this is Ken and his son Kevin taking the boat back out to the mooring.
And that's probably what Jonas Grumby said.
You know, Ken's actually turned into a
And yes, that was
reasonably
the
competent
skipper's
boat handler. But
just takes patience and a little bit of planning. Knowing when to quit. a bad approach.
anyway, yeah, we actually did do a go around on the first attempt to dock.
It's not a vote of confidence that he took the picture from the dock, Ken.
Well, I don't know what you mean. Okay, image. Okay.
Are you watching the comments, Steve?
Yeah.
Okay, so we got a lot more boat stuff to talk about, but okay, and form, fit the screen. This is in front of the tiller looking aft, and you can see all of my clothes piled up there, so just bear in mind that the glare behind the camera was far worse than the glare in front of it. I took my shirt off, and I think a couple of boats wound up running ashore thinking I was the light. There's the lighthouse.
If you look right there in the back left-hand corner in the trees, you'll see a mast laying on its side.
Yeah. Right, there's a mast laying back there in the tree line.
Is that your previous boat, Ken?
It's somebody's.
No. This.
But let's just say the marina uses it as a cautionary tale.
One of the interesting things about boats that I didn't notice until I actually got to own one is that there isn't any way to get rid of a boat that doesn't want to be gotten rid of. In other words, if somebody just abandons it, you can't just cut it free, although they may have done that in that particular case. I'm not sure. But if you can't find the previous, the original owner, or the original owner is dead in some cases, then what do you do with the boat? It just sits there on a mooring and rots. They can't do anything with it.
Well, this whole thing kind of brings up a point that you don't see a lot of kit models of civilian sailboats, and there are a few of them out there, a lot of fully rigged ships and stuff. But you start looking at these things and realizing,
oh, there we go. That's the picture. Careful, guys. Watch out.
I'm going to stop it right there.
No. Go the whole way. Go the whole way, Max.
Ken, get your hands up. Ken, Put the mouse down. Don't make them. Oh, crap.
The whole thing. There we go. Max Al Natural.
And I put my shirt on just for this picture. Hey, I can't afford another cell phone. I don't want to burn out the camera in this one. But I understand the whole thing behind owning a boat, because this is nice just to sit out there and relax on it. But you start looking at all the little fine details and everything, and realize that a kit model of a sailboat would be a very, very hard thing to detail out properly. And there's
lots of things.
There's just lots of little bits and bobs all over it. And I mean, if you were to get them down to scale, even 135 scale, they'd be freaking tiny.
Yeah, because the boat's not real big. That's my son up on the bow.
But you realize how much stuff is it. And like we were talking about, you build these models and have these tiny little bits of plastic that you put on there. And you get, oh, wow, this is a big chunk of steel. You know, or gigantic piece of fiberglass. Or, oh, you know, in the ship, there are threads and strings. But out here, they're steel cables. And speaking of steel, while I was out in California on this last trip, I got to meet up with Mike Machat. And
we're boat-oriented.
Yeah, this is a boat-oriented show. And this gets back to exactly what I was just talking about, is that
it's not just my boat.
You know, we wind up, you know, building these models of ships and subs and stuff, and have all these tiny little details at the sides of threads. And then you go out and see a real one, and he goes, man, that stuff's really big and really heavy, and, you know, that's something, actually. And not a tiny little ball of plastic.
Oh, okay, there we go. Now you got the comments. Let me see.
Is everybody? I think everybody's having trouble with buffering.
Yeah, it seems to be a problem.
Okay. Well, maybe I can clean that up.
Buffering.
Well, I'll tell you what. Hold on. You know what? As long as we're doing pictures, I am going to turn off the video to download the amount of stuff that has to be sent.
Oh, a rope.
And maybe that'll help with the... Oh, wow, the screen just went black.
Maybe that wasn't such a good move.
No, it's buffering. It's buffering here, too. Can you...
Boy, they really put a lot of maintenance into that sub.
Yeah! Well, I'm... Wow, that's... Is everybody buffering?
Large percentage are.
You got crappy internet, Ken.
No, I don't. I got a gig. It's not my internet.
Yeah,
Here, let me see something. Let me have the mouse for a second.
Yeah.
Can't reach that far.
I'm turning off everything I'm not using so that hopefully it'll...
Whoa.
What?
Something is sucking up a lot.
Somebody just called the sub the USS Rust-Oleum.
Well, that'd be the USSR Rust-Oleum. Can you turn all that off, or that one that says very high?
Well, that's you.
No, that was. Oh, well, yeah, you can close all that. That was the setup. You can close that one too.
Oh, that one?
Yeah. What's this Microsoft Edge 20? Can you close these windows or turn them off?
This is all stuff that you're using. I've turned everything on mine off.
I'm not using any of that stuff.
We're still just running at 20% CPU and 63% memory. The network's only at 1%.
Well, I'm not sure if this is just my...
That might be just that.
Oh, look, that was just my iPad.
How about you, Steve? You see anything?
No, I'm seeing a panning shot of the side of your boat with your son on the side putting the...
Wow, you're way behind.
I'm watching. I'm sorry, that was on my phone. Yeah, I'm looking at the Queen Mary with the sub. That's
yeah. Okay. Good. That's the current. And we're coming through on the audio. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. You know something else? Which? Okay. You can still hear me? Okay. Right.
Yep.
Okay. Good. I'm shutting off everything we're not in need of. But anyway. So
It's running at 3.7% CPU and 60 frames per second, so it should be going through fine now.
Now, because this thing has limitations to it, I'm not going to bother running that video here because it'll just lock up and we're not getting any audio.
Okay.
So there's no point. What I'll do is I'll take that home and make a better video.
Okay.
But well, there's still a lot of stuff to cover tonight. So we don't get too sidetracked. Mike Machat was telling me that he had family that went back and forth a lot on the ocean liners back in the day.
Life on a sub, just like jail with a chance of drowning.
There's Mike on the Queen Mary, and okay, well, let me do a fit to screen here so you guys can see the little toy they had out on the deck. Oh, you can't see it in that picture. I thought they were
that picture.
Yeah, but anyway, they had I have a picture of it. I'll show you. They have a 40mm Bofors gun, and twin Bofors. And you tend to forget that.
That looks like a capstan.
Yeah, that's a capstan, I believe it is. But Kim was pointing out that the vents are facing rearward here. They may be exhaust vents, possibly. Normally, you see those, those phone vent-looking things facing into the wind. But I suppose. But even though the ship is actually up on pillars, and they put the water around it and everything to, of course, make it look like it's floating, but it is impressive. Even though the thing was built in 34, 35, and let me show you a couple of the pictures we took around the ship. Actually, you know what? I'm going to cancel that. I'm going to go with a slideshow. That'll be a little easier. Slideshow. Okay. All right, and let's pick up add files.
Sidetracked on Max's models?
It's what we do. And we're going to get some models they had inside also.
It's too bad the Spruce Goose wasn't still there.
Yeah, that would have been something. That's where the Spruce Goose flew for real, right there.
Yep.
Trey said, "Squirrel!"
Yeah. Like it takes a squirrel to distract me. But that's by the way, that is a Foxtrot class submarine, diesel electric, and yeah, you used to be able to go inside, but you can't anymore. I wonder why. Probably because it is the USSR Rustolium, CCCP Rustolium. That thing is a tetanus waiting to happen, and but it is a Cold War era submarine post World War II. And it's big. For a sub of its era, it's actually quite large. And they had repainted the Queen Mary recently. That aft stack, I don't think they got around to painting that because it's pretty chipped and everything. You'll notice all the lifeboats are gone. Apparently, Mike was saying that they rotted. They had to get rid of them. I think they saved one for the museum. But the stacks are made of fiberglass. The original ones just got in such bad shape. I guess they became a safety hazard. So they made fiberglass copies, and I think the red, he's pointing out the red's a little wrong, but you can see how wide that submarine is. Of course, don't forget that it's about half that width inside because you have the ballast tanks running down the side.
Squirrels? I love squirrels.
Especially roasted. But you get on the ship and...
tastes just like chicken.
Or does chicken taste like squirrel? But some of these photos are a little out of order. I'm not exactly sure how that happened, but I love that gigantic sonar blister.
Nathan says when he stayed on this Queen Mary, and he actually got to sit in the twin Buffer's machine gun seat.
Oh yeah, the Bofors gun. Yeah, it's on them. They got it mounted up on the bow.
Oh, Bofors.
Bofors. I think that was the company that made them. But so let's go to another slideshow. Here are some different pictures.
I'm getting asbestos just looking at this.
Yeah, really. And now let's see. Let's go down. Here we go.
My father came home from Europe after World War II on that ship.
Did he?
Yep.
Mike Freddy says, "What's an ass stack?"
Okay, why is it? Oh. Okay. Oh, I have to use image. Transform. The screen. And you can tell it had that. You said that's a car. I guess that's a cargo crane because it was still a.
Mm-hmm.
It's still, even though it's an ocean liner, I'm sure it still carried plenty of cargo.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to get a look at the inside on the models here in a second. I mean, they got some models on there that are worth the trip by themselves. Really kind of what we went there to go see. I just thought I'd show the pictures of the ship first. But
Tom Fox says, "More Godzilla, Max."
But there's the Bofors guns. And
after the tour, Godzilla comes in and eats the boat.
No, eats the sub. It's the one that's probably full of radiation. Even if it's diesel electric, it's still a Russian. But the Bofors guns, of course, the 40 millimeters, don't forget they had proximity fuses. And they didn't actually... You want to shut that door? They didn't have to actually shoot the plane down. They just had to throw the pilot's bomb aim off. Hey, it survived the war.
I'll be right back.
Okay. But unfortunately, everything's disconnected. I tried spinning the wheels and stuff, and nothing turned or rotated, so they probably figured that one out already. Let's see. One other thing I didn't even know existed while we were on this same little tour is, I believe it's called Douglas Park. This, you guys know I'm working on the Douglas World Cruisers. This is in the middle of a park where the Douglas Aircraft Factory used to be, and it's a gigantic globe, and it has three of the Douglas World Cruisers. It has, like brass or bronze, three of the Douglas World Cruisers on it, and a globe. I thought that was freaking awesome. And,
you see that picture you have up with the gun?
Uh-huh.
The picture, the dome behind it?
That's where the Spruce Goose used to be.
That's where the Spruce Goose used to be.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
that was the... Yeah, that's where they kept it.
Cool.
And until, of course, they went to, what was it, McMinnville, Oregon.
McMinnville.
You know, like you do. But, guys, if you're...
The Air and Space Museum.
Because lots of people go there.
Well, they go there now. The Spruce Goose is there.
One of my friends is he's a guide there.
Oh, cool.
And he said it is mobbed constantly.
I have no doubt. Because of airplane nerds like me.
Why wasn't it mobbed in Los Angeles?
No love.
Don't know.
Don't know. But this is a Lego
I was gonna say, it looks
Queen
like a
Mary.
Lego.
And that thing's a good 30-odd, 20-odd feet long. And
Can you see how much fun that would be transporting that thing?
funny, Mike made the exact same observation on these giant models about building them's only half the fun, getting them here is the other half.
In one piece.
Some of them break down into sections, but that's just the Lego model. Let's take a look at the models. And these are large scale, of course. All right. Next one. Now, most of these models are cut in half. One half looks like the ship, and the other half shows the inside.
Which is really interesting.
You're way behind. Ah, there it is. It just showed up.
Fit the screen. This one, I believe, I'm not sure if that's, I think that may be the Titanic. The Titanic and the Lusitania. And, of course, this is the half of the ship, the model where you see it. And you can probably tell by the reflections how big this thing is. I mean, it's a good 15, 20 footer. And, but the really amazing part is...
You need to be ahead of that.
Let's get to the inside. Okay.
Is that it?
Nope. Here we go. So, transform, fit the screen. You can just start to see some of the detail here.
You got another picture that's better.
And, well, they got several of these ships. They have the Normandy, I think it's the Lusitania, and the Titanic.
Did they tell you how many bricks are in each one?
Well, these aren't Lego, but the other one was. And they may have had a brick count somewhere. Let's see. Try and find the better
Where's
photo.
the QM model they used in Poseidon Adventure?
No, that's not at this museum, unfortunately. Okay, here's a close-up just to show you some of the detail. And
oh, cool. Bill Campbell says the Lego Titanic is pretty cool, pretty long too. You make it in 3 sections and then connect it all.
okay, well that would make sense. And my God, why it's still stuck on that picture?
It takes a little while, I guess.
Yeah, but we've been gone from that. Okay.
There it goes. It's all right.
We're running on a heck of a lag today. Would you go to my bedroom and get my cup
And
of
now
ice
it looks
and
like you
bottle
got
of
the
water?
Titanic in a big glass case.
Yeah, that's it. And you're going to see the other side of it here just a bit.
It's gonna be fun.
The water and the cup of ice. My throat's already good.
Where's your cough syrup?
Nah, here you don't drink.
You might start now.
Nah.
That doesn't keep you.
When you were on the boat, did you go in the thing that takes you outside and you look at the propeller?
No.
No?
No. But we're unfortunately with the buffering and the lag and everything, we're getting, you know, the pictures are running really slow. That's why I'm trying to unload everything I'm not using so that this thing doesn't have to fight so much.
Nathan says that's the Titanic made from poster board made by a local priest of a Catholic church in Long Beach that took him 5 years to make.
I'm surprised that that's all it took.
Well, it
'Cause
saved a lot of young boys.
okay. Nah, I'm Catholic, so I ain't touching that one. No, don't say it, don't say it, don't say it. I got enough to answer for as it is.
Mike's looking at this thing like,
Can you also get the cup of ice that was on? It's on the stand right
It's not
beside
ice
it.
anymore.
Well, it's still cold.
Okay.
Ken, you're never gonna make it as my waiter. Or about that.
I'm trying.
Okay, I'm gonna wait. There we go, and this will back out in just a second. But every single piece of this, you know, it's not like you got this at a hobby shop. Every single piece had to be extruded and made and whatever and painted. And you look at the detail. None of this is going to win awards at the museums because, as big as it is, you know, they all, you know, the Loyal Order of the Rivet Counters would say, you know, there's too much of this and that's not to do. But still, it's an amazing thing to look at. And I imagine a lot of it is made out of cardboard, poster board, and stuff like that.
Taylor's building the trumpeter model of the Titanic.
Oh, that'll keep him busy for a week.
He said it's unbelievable. He said the mold must have cost a fortune.
I'll bet it did.
The thing's huge. And it's like a $500 kit.
And for good reason. And there's Rose walking across the deck.
There you go.
But, you know, you look at something like that, and you just can't believe that they took, you know, something this big, threw it in the water, and it floated. Thank you.
It's real water, by the way. Not cough syrup.
Yeah, I'm just drinking water tonight because it's tonight. Let's see. What other? Let's go for some more pictures. Anyway, they have some regular ship models on display also. Let's see. Oops. There we go. It's a QE2, I believe, and this is not a. These are much smaller models. They're big models, but they're much smaller, and they don't have the interior displayed.
Oh, Bill says you need a UV filter to take the window glare away.
No, I'll take these pictures on my cell phone. I'm sure he's right. But this is more of a traditional model ship. But when you look at the interiors of these gargantuan models they made that have these full interior displays, I mean just the sheer volume of work, not to mention you know, clearly a lot of loving attention to detail, and they're just impressive.
Oh, Craig Swain asked, does the Titanic model have figures of Jack and Rose standing on the bow?
They've got right there. They've got what's not on the bow, but they've got sort of Rose figures, sort of walking around the upper crust deck.
The answer is no, because it's not nose down in the water.
Sorry, Steve. Too soon.
Sorry.
Okay, let's. And they had some other model ships of just conventional ships from the past that were most of them were some sort of record setter, but you look back and you realize that this thing actually was set up for sail. I mean, you could run sails on that thing to help with the steam. It was a time when that's how it was done. Every one of them's completely under ruddered.
And actually, they're trying the sail thing again.
Why not?
They put a big sail on a oil tanker, trying to see if that makes a difference.
Sounds more like a publicity stunt, but whatever. And then again, it is free energy. Why let it go?
Yeah, but those sails are expensive. Plus, you got to maintain the things.
I think.
And they're huge.
And speaking of ships, and I don't really have the good pictures here, but we also went out and saw the Iowa.
Ah, I know.
We didn't go on it because we were very time limited, obviously, but BB-61, and I made Mike a deal, which I might impress some of the glue troopers to help with. His museum in Santa Monica is getting a museum model of the Iowa.
Oh.
And it said, I want to find out a list of all of the aircraft, since it's primarily an aviation museum, of all the aircraft that served on it, and make models of them to donate to the museum when they're done to display with the ship, just to sort of keep an emphasis on the aviation theme of the museum. And I'm going to start off with the Hupp helicopter, because this did serve with helicopters on board after the fixed wing. As we talked about recently, the fixed wing aircraft kind of, after World War II, with the helicopters coming in, they sort of lost their dominance as the aerial asset for battleships and cruisers. And I got one picture somewhere if I can find it. Yeah, there it is. And so I'm going to paint up one of the Hupps to look like this, donate to the museum, and I'm going to find out what other aircraft they had on board, and I might make it a little challenge for the glue troopers. If they'd like to have one of their models displayed in the museum, they can pick one of the aircraft and build it. We haven't worked out all the details of that, but that's kind of the plan.
Or maybe have a contest.
But man, this thing really is buffering. I mean, it's running way behind on the pictures and everything.
At least it's not locking up.
Shh, we ain't there yet.
What is this dial-up AOL?
What's that?
What is this dial-up AOL you're on?
Yeah.
No, nothing as fancy as that.
AOL. It's CompuServe, baby. That was my first internet access, was CompuServe.
I knew some guys, friends of mine from college, that worked for CompuServe.
Well,
yeah, we used to go over after the business closed, and we would play group Star Trek.
God, and I thought I was a nerd.
We had a blast.
Group Star Trek.
Yeah.
Okay.
Somebody came in one day and brought a game with them, which was
There's the Iowa.
a group Star Trek game. Back then, nobody had one of those. A group game, and they couldn't get it to work. And then after they left, my buddies went in and fixed it and got it working. And after hours, we would go in and we would play it. We get like 5 or 6 of us all together on different terminals.
I'm going to sit over there. But anyway, as that unfolds, I'll let you guys know. But I'm going to volunteer myself and probably the glue troopers to build some models for the Museum of Flying for their Iowa display. And they won't have to be the exact same scale, although that would be nice. But the Hupp I'm going to get is in a weird scale because it's the Atlantis kit. And
that's the old Aurora kit.
And they actually got that from the World of Helicopters industrial thing. Some company made them, and they just bought the molds. So,
I don't know how to pronounce that.
what?
Plane. I guess it's Plane Nut 767. Okay. So if you get more time, check out the USS Lane Victory down the road from the USS Iowa.
Is that a cruiser or?
I don't know what the Lane.
Oh no, the Lane Victory would be a victory ship. If it ends in victory.
Oh.
I've been on the the Freedom Victory, the one you and I were on in Tampa.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually a victory ship, not a liberty ship.
Right.
No, they didn't make as many of them, but they were much better, very improved. And that one's used by the Navy. What he said, 77. They're doing like some kind of picket duty off Vietnam.
Well, a friend of mine at the Train Museum used to be a navigator on one of those.
Hmm. Now,
my brother was the quartermaster on the Iowa when they recommissioned it.
Oh. Now, while Mike and I were doing our grand tour, we went down to Long Beach and went to the old, couple of remaining buildings from Douglas Aircraft, McDonnell Douglas. They still have the Fly DC jets because it's sign up because it's protected. Of course, Mike was telling me he had his photos, and I've got some video. Again, I'll be putting together a more detailed video, standalone video about this. But I remember when you would see stuff like this, Fly Eastern Airlines or whatever, near airports, the top of hangars, they still have, American Airlines still has some big signs like that at LaGuardia on their hangars. And they're all now being protected. And, I have to admit, there is for an aviation person, there is a almost mystical, sentimental quality to things like this, because these kinds of things really harken back to the heyday. I mean, this is when, jets had round dials, and half the senior captains had started off in scarves and goggles. And it's just, a lot of people don't realize that there are guys who flew the airmail before World War II in open cockpit airplanes with scarves and goggles who retired flying jets. It happens that fast in aviation. And to go down where some of these buildings rolled out, where these planes were rolled out from, to see the pictures of the line of DC-9s or whatever, it's just, it's hallowed ground. At least to the aviation type. For Steve, it'd be like you going to one of the places in Detroit where they built your favorite car.
Yeah.
And of course, the picture still hasn't updated.
Well, you've been to San Diego, and you saw the building that runs along the freeway with the angled roof. That's the old Convair plant.
That's the kind of thing someone could do just for aviation nerds. Give them the aviation nerd tour. If you're in San Diego, I'll show you where. Because Mike did that with me and took me to all these great places, and there was a lot of stuff we didn't get around. But the first time I went there, we managed to go to the site of the old Revell model factory.
Yeah.
And we just sat there in the car and had a moment of silence. Listen to the ghost of Lou Glazer, and
hoping for Royal's granddaughter to come by.
You are a sick man. But
hey, at least I'm not a Scientologist.
I said sick, not stupid. Okay. Now I'm going to get some hate mail from Scientologists out there. This is all in good fun, people. We're from the generation of the Dean Martin roast, where the more you insult somebody, the more you love them. I'm surprised they even still sell those things, even on tape or DVD.
When I watch them on YouTube, I'm like, they could never put this on today.
That's why it's not even on TV now, Oh, man. Don Rickles. Crap he got away with saying to Sammy Davis Jr. Now,
I think one of the best lines I ever heard was that Dean Martin was on stage and he picked up Sammy Davis Jr. and he said, "I'd like to thank the NAACP for this award."
Oh my God! Oh Lord!
Yeah, that would go over real big right now.
Yeah, I can picture that now. They'd be rioting for 3 days.
I will say one thing. I love the California trips. It's usually one leg over, and it does come with a few constellations that you're not going to get, flying coach, and you're not going to get on the, on the regular flight from West Palm to White Plains. And that is when we do these flights that have these special meals and everything on them, I'm like, ooh, yummy, yummy. I actually get to eat real food. And which for an airline crew is like, what is this? I don't recognize this. I think I saw it in a movie once.
It doesn't come in a wrapper.
Yeah, really.
Soylent.
Hey, can I have my Soylent Red, please? But I did see something. I might have got a picture of it. And
What's he doing?
people ask, you ever see anything weird in the sky? And I'm like, yeah, I see these big glowy orbs from time to time. Now, I didn't really catch a good picture of it, but we're flying along, and I look down and I see this flat disc-shaped thing down below us in the clouds. I'm like, what the heck is that? And he goes, I'm not really sure. Maybe it's reflection off a cloud, and it starts moving around a little bit. Now, you have to remember you're looking at, in a somewhat dark sky through haze and stuff, and it starts making weird moves. I'm like, you see, and I tease the captain. I'm like, that's it. I'm calling Tyler and telling him, because I just seen that thing from Close Encounters, I'm calling Tyler and telling him we got a flying saucer. We're seeing UFOs out here. I'm like, yeah, they'll be waiting for us when we land. But, like what, the military? No, the guys with the drug kit. But what it was is the moon was coming up from below the clouds. And it was really a haunting and interesting thing to see. And we got to see this sort of moonrise up above the clouds. Of course, a cell phone camera can't catch a real good picture. Got a little video of it, but this thing would be so jilty. But I was like, I was like, little things like that, just kind of, you might be running 5 hours late, you might have had a crappy day, blah, 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 but you get these little compensations from time to time. And
You have your moments.
It has its moments. And then I got to ride a train.
Get to sit in front of an Airbus, drive it from coast to coast, and he's thrilled by sitting in a train.
Well, getting back to models, this is the inside of Ken's mind.
Yeah, Trey, you'll recognize a few things in there.
This is where the models. What?
What the hell is that?
That's what I was talking about earlier about getting to eat real food. One of the nice compensations about doing the flights where they have the first class section.
Oh, okay.
And the moon is just coming up. See how it's moving around? Woo. Yeah, that's the spooky moon that I saw. So anyway, this room is the inside of Ken's mind. This is where the models that were returned. This is where the models that were returned to kit form get returned to flying form.
I didn't know you took that picture.
That's no moon. Yeah, I was waiting for TIE fighters to keep chasing us, but it has its views, but we're running on a couple of minute lag tonight, guys, which is why Steve and I may be talking about something you're not seeing because of the.
Well, we do that all the time anyway. But.
Yeah, this is true.
True.
I told him no lag. But to watch it come up from under the clouds and illuminate underneath and start coming up, all I kept thinking was David Vincent, a man too long without sleep. I'm like, if that thing comes up and starts flying around the airplane, I'm shooting back.
You know what's the funny thing is we kid around about the airline food.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when they used to roll the cart down the aisle with the meat and slice it.
And slice, yeah.
Right at your chair.
Yep. Yeah, those days are beyond gone.
Way gone. Yeah.
But, so anyway, you guys are probably seeing now the dark side of Ken's mind here, where airplanes that misbehave go to get their discipline.
And the shelves on the right, that's where I keep the ornaments that I make, and you can even see some vases that I've made.
Looks like the barnyard in Tucson.
Funny you should mention that. We flew right past both Marana and Davis Mothball, and I clipped some pictures. But then again, we're at 34,000 feet, and I'm using a cell phone, so they really don't, really can't make anything out. But we did go past both boneyards, and I think about that when I go there, like, behave, airplane, or you'll be in there too someday.
Tom Fox says a P-38 looks sad.
Yeah, it does. It looks like the pond raiser. Anybody that remembers that airplane.
Yeah, I remember that plane.
So, okay.
There's some nice blue ornaments on the floor there.
Yeah. Let's see. What was there?
What happened here?
What?
Oh, nothing. It's okay.
John Ashley
But
Smith
I got
says,
knocked off.
I need a P-47. Damn it. Yep, I told you Trey would say something about that.
Reverting back from kit form.
Some of them. Yeah, I still haven't put the P-30. That's the previously crashed P-38. I have to take all the stuff out of that and put it into the new one that I'm going to build.
But I'm going to turn the camera back on. Stand by for the camera to return. And here we are. So, I'm sorry guys, I really had bigger plans for that, but of course tonight wasn't even going to happen till tomorrow night. So what I think I'm going to do is, provided there's nothing getting in, well, I don't know what time I'm getting home tomorrow though. So I was going to say maybe another live stream tomorrow night, where I get everything ready. Huh?
I don't think you
get home in time, but maybe sometime this week I'll have an impromptu live stream. Well, semi-impromptu. I'll try to let you guys know ahead of time, but I know a lot of y'all work during the week, and that's one reason I try to do these on Saturday nights, is most folks are off, and I know that the entire what
GNA Scale Models says you unlock this door with the key of imagination. Beyond there's another dimension, a dimension of sound, a dimension of sight, a dimension of mind,
a dimension of styrene and foam.
Planes come back to life.
That's what you build, Ken. You make zombie airplanes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you bring them back from the dead.
I do.
No, so does Trey.
Yeah, Trey does that too.
I'm the guy that kills them to begin with.
Yeah. You've definitely done that.
Crap game of Kelly's Heroes. Well, you didn't say much schlepping this 30. Well, you quit your pitching.
Yeah, that's my bench. It also happens to be my son's office.
Which explains why he doesn't get more work done. But the thing is that, it's not until I stopped and looked back at it today, I was like, 2 weeks ago, I'm on a Nazi sub. A week ago, or not even that, a day ago, I'm at these hollow ground around Douglas. I'm on the Queen Mary. We're poking fun at a rusted Russian sub. And today I'm sitting on a yachet, with a towel wrapped around me, being very Hawaiian, and just going native. I'm kind of like, yeah, life's good.
Life is
just
good.
A regular jet setter.
Yeah.
Max gets around.
I get around.
Also your B-25 is in the living room behind.
Yeah, I saw that. Mm-hmm. It's a good thing that nobody I fly with has seen my RC videos. I'm not flying with that guy. He's already splattered 6 airplanes. What? It's the RC field.
And one of them flew away. Just kept on going.
That Zero is still flying over Duval County somewhere.
Hope it didn't go through somebody's window.
That's why we put it. That's why we have an RC field down by the river. But you know what? It's on the wrong side of the river. Remember the mummy?
Oh, yeah.
O'Connell, we got the horses. Hey, Benny, you're on the wrong side of the river. That is still the best of all the mummy. That's only Brandon Fraser's best movie. I don't care what he got an Academy Award for.
Oh, hey, speaking of movies, I heard something interesting today. Chris Pratt is going to be in a remake of The Day the Earth Stood Still.
Really?
Why remake it?
Because they already did that with Keanu, and I like the original better, and I like Keanu.
Hey, I'm just reporting what I read. You know, I'm not justifying it.
Speaking of Hollywood, you guys know we lost the British actor David McCallum. You know, Ilya Kuryakin.
Is he still alive?
He was 90.
Wow.
He just
Not
passed away.
anymore, Ken.
Well, okay. Ha 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 ha.
Oh, okay, time to put the picture up.
Deb, you're in the frame. Don't.
How'd I get in the frame?
The
By walking in
camera's on.
front of the camera.
I'm gonna go in the bath.
That would be a really good idea.
Hi, Dad.
Hi.
Okay. I was turning pictures back on, but they weren't coming out. And now you know why I lock the door of my office when I do that.
See what happens when you drink water instead of cough syrup?
Yeah. Now, guys, I'm putting this picture up. I want y'all to take a minute and look at it. And I want somebody to tell me the irony. We'll wait.
What, the Mercedes?
I
I can see. So can they. Of course, they're 30 seconds behind us.
Yeah. But anyway, so Mike was pointing out that, you know, if you had told someone who worked at the Douglas factory in 1944 that one day, you know, Mercedes is going to own this place, we'll be a bit like, what are you, some kind of Nancy? Next thing you tell me, the Japanese will be making cars in Alabama. Old Kentucky.
Yeah.
And
What other? Anybody come up with anything yet? Has it come through yet?
no,
it hasn't
they
come
haven't
through
seen it yet.
No.
They eat better in a U.S. submarine than at Maxim's. Yeah, submarines were the one thing about submarines was they were known for the good quality food. Even in the Russian Navy, that was the case because you got to keep people motivated. You know, you're going to be in that tin can underwater, especially in the like the Japanese Navy because you know those are Godzilla infested waters. Have you seen the trailer for Godzilla -1 or G-1?
Yeah. Can't wait to see it.
Yeah, it looks like it ought to be good.
My neighbor, her son's in the Navy. He just got, next week he's going to Japan for 2 years. So he said to me, as soon as I get over there, he says, I'll get you one of those Godzilla -1 figures and send it to you.
Absolutely. Okay, now they're just getting the picture here.
Well, we got a poll.
I had it, well, you know. There we go.
Periscope, you can find it. Great film.
Which one?
Boeing Company advertisement film about.
Flying on the Stratocruiser, yeah. My mom, my late mother's, after my dad had passed, one of her boyfriends, Fred, was talking about he used to fly, I think it was Pan Am, and he flew in the Stratocruiser from time to time, and they had that bar, you know, downstairs. He goes, man, that alone made that airplane worth flying on. You know, risking a runaway prop.
Bill Campbell said, "Oh, your wife is giving scale to the room. The room's bigger than I thought."
Lemur Crazy's talking about the Bridges of Toko-Ri. I believe, in my humble opinion, that the Bridges of Toko-Ri is one of the best war/anti-war movies ever made.
Absolutely.
And
it had great footage.
oh, absolutely. Also had excellent special effects. And of course, it had Frederick March. All that speech he gives him, you know. They act the way they do because they're there, and you act the way you do because we're here. It's just that simple. He's actually quite right. You realize that I just finished reading that book that Fran Fierico gave me, 7 Seconds to Die, and about the very, very brief war that happened just very, very recently in a part of the country most people couldn't find on the globe, part of the world most people couldn't find on the globe, between Azerbaijan and Armenia. And
the more crazy is saying everyone driving Axis cars.
Garfield just says, "Oh look, the 3-pronged swastika."
No! Oh, that's a guy. I'm stealing that. And at least the Beamer had to get, so you can't just use the miscolored Polish flag.
We were crazy. Everybody's driving Axis cars now.
Yeah, God, he ain't wrong. Between the Ferraris and the Beamers and Mercedes and Yoders and what was the guy said? We won the war and lost the peace. I mean,
yes, more Godzilla.
can you imagine the look on a World War II veteran's face the day Mercedes bought Chrysler?
Oh wow, yeah.
Ouch! Oh, ow! Don't cuss! Don't cuss! Don't cuss! Oh,
Max is
mother
wounded.
trucker.
Max is down.
So,
We have to call EMS.
bang my elbow on this sharp corner right back here that Kim strategically placed behind me as a punishment method.
Watch out for that thing.
So, you know, people say they shouldn't remake old black and white movies, and some of them, like Casablanca, I completely agree with. I won't, but at the same time, as much as I think the original Godzilla movie is a great...
I can't read. Your hand keeps going in the way.
As much as I think the original Godzilla movie was excellent on so many levels, I have to admit I am glad to see that they apparently are more or less remaking it. And, because it's supposed to be taking place in 1947. I'm really looking forward to it. And as we talked about, I think it was 2 weeks ago or a week ago when I did the frame by frame comparison, they've actually, there's a lot of homage to the original, and it'll be interesting to see what they do with it. And of course, you guys know the movie that I want to make is be taking place in about 1955, and it would be basically Godzilla versus the War of the Worlds invaders, with humans just kind of there to watch because kind of powerless to do much. I just think that would be so much science fiction fun, fantasy fun.
Yeah, we were talking about that at breakfast this morning.
Yeah, we actually came up with it. Ken had an idea, and Ken actually improved on it. How you could make Godzilla not immune to, but because the aliens had the disintegrator ray that, according, he even says it in the movie when he sees it work. He talks to the Marine colonel, shouting, the scientist is shouting that their ray unbinds the meson, the atomic glue that holds molecules together, and the thing just disappears because there's nothing to keep it around, because most molecules are made up of hollow space. And I was thinking, so they use it on Godzilla, and it hurts him, chews away his skin, but he can heal, and it's so dense that it doesn't work as effectively. And when he heals bigger and stronger. So throughout the movie, he's mutating, getting bigger and stronger because of the attacks. And if they blow a chunk off of him, like a dorsal plate or something, you leave it there long enough, and it grows another Godzilla. Or some other mutant kaiju.
What about the scientists of the world team up with Godzilla and give him an electronic protective shield?
Well, actually, I was kind of retconning it the other way, that they take some of the stuff that gets blown off of him and examine it and figure out how to make those for us. Hey, we can replicate this. Some of them get some pieces, start playing around their labs, create, oops, we stuck it in the microwave and it came out as a 10-foot iguana with a scorpion tail. And you could have so much sci-fi fun with that. I saw a documentary on the B movies of the 50s, not really the 40s, but the 50s. Because let's take it. Let's be honest. Except for the original King Kong, kaiju wasn't really a thing until, I guess, the 50s. I mean, not... There was the Beast from 20,000 Fathoms. I think that came out in the 50s also. But once that happened, and of course Hollywood had a new plot device, the word radiation explained anything you wanted to do with sci-fi.
Shrinking people.
Making them big, 50-foot woman, shrinking man.
Mm-hmm.
What was the brain from Argos or whatever, that...
Arrows.
And he winds up taking it out with an axe. Take that, you skullless freak.
or Spider-Man came from a radioactive spider.
Like you do. I wonder how many nerds have stuck a spider into radioactive material and tried to get bitten by it to see if they could start shooting webs.
I don't think there were that
No
many
live
crazy
ones.
people. The what, Steve?
No live ones.
No live ones.
You know what you get when you irradiate a spider? A really angry spider.
Or a dead one. Pan Am would give military...
Yeah, Godzilla versus the Mysterians would be great. I mean, even the Japanese played with aliens and Godzilla, so it's not exactly new, but I want it to have that gritty War of the Worlds feel to it, and I want a scene where Godzilla's tearing apart. I've got this already in my mind that...
who is that? Lemire Crazy. Diorama idea. Godzilla versus War of the Worlds.
Yeah. Now, it's already actually been done a couple of times. One of them was actually in fine scale modeling.
The Mysterians.
Yeah, Godzilla. That would be. Now, this is the way I see the scene. You see the GIs, hopelessly shooting at the force field around one of the Swan type vehicles heading towards them, just as getting ready to let them have it with the heat ray, just sort of out of the ground underneath it, like in Godzilla versus Mothra. Out of the ground underneath it, you see the giant claw come up and grab the ship, and Godzilla just comes out from under the dirt.
Yeah.
Okay? It just tears the machine apart, reaches in, grabs the nuclear reactor, and just chews it. And you see a couple of little aliens that are squealing and screaming. He just takes one of them and just, like the Predator did with the little baby alien thing in Predator versus Alien, just squishes them like a grape.
Crunchy on the outside,
it's chewy in the middle. Yeah. and one of them hits the ground and runs off, but he hasn't got his force field now, and runs right into a bunch of GIs who just light him up with Tommy guns and M1s. Godzilla looks down and sees the GIs shooting and just kind of goes, and figures, okay, I won't squash you. And then he goes on his head. And this is how great alliances are forged. But
just a simple little act of not squishing somebody.
Yeah, it's a start, And so the military gets the idea that we got no control over this thing, but the enemy of my enemy. So they kind of follow him around, that he gets used to them, but they always make it a point,
stay away from the feet.
Keep a little distance, leave him room to maneuver, and just don't tick him off and nobody point a gun at him.
Yeah, that tends to annoy him.
But we could have so much fun with something like that, and heck, you could make that a TV series probably. But and just every time he gets a chunk blown off of him by the aliens, it creates a different kind of kaiju that you can never predict what it's going to be like. The giant ants, them, yeah. I didn't appreciate it till I saw it again later in life. But the movie Them...
Oh, Nathan, that was bad.
What?
I'm not going to say it.
Pass on that one.
We'll just leave that one.
We'll let that one go.
Yeah. In the comments.
We can either confirm or deny. But if you remember the movie Them, God, I know that actor's name. He's been in everything.
James Whitmore.
James Whitmore, thank you. And James Whitmore, the cop that he played, the trooper, the way he's trying to deal with the little girl and everything, you realize he's doing the best he can. The way the government comes in and responds to the thing. My brother watched that movie and he goes, these were the days of good government. Cops you could trust and agents that weren't afraid to, put the fatigues back on and go in with the army with flamethrowers and machine guns and just face the enemy. And I was like, back when they really were heroes.
Tom Fox just came up with a really good idea.
Hmm?
That comment right there.
Well, they did. Basically, that's been done. It's called the disposal. Well, I keep calling them the disposables.
What?
What are they making their like the Expendables? They're making like their fourth one now or fifth one coming out.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't even watched
Oh,
any
my
of
wife
them.
loves them, and they're funny. They're like John Wick. You're not there to take them seriously. Yeah, basically, that's what the Expendables is.
And my answer to Tom Fox's comment is, could you cast anybody in the movie over 5 feet?
Godzilla versus the Kardashians.
He'd lose.
Can you imagine Godzilla on cocaine?
he
I mean, it'd be like Cocaine Bear times 100.
he would kill himself.
But
Nathan, stop, man.
well,
Speaking of movies, the Curator looks
yeah,
good.
yeah.
I'm planning to see it Sunday. Yeah, that could be that could be good. Oh, somebody asked earlier, do I have any cats? We used to. We haven't for a few years. Just to let you know. I do like cats a lot. Obviously, Max does too.
I was told to. I wanted to talk. The Kardashian women are the living embodiment of succubus. Another one that I'm not touching because I just don't say it. But everybody has their own road to the top. Or should I say everybody has their own road on top? I didn't say that.
Oh, you didn't say that.
Okay, nice, hush. Everybody be quiet. Weird War. I remember I used to watch Weird War, read Weird War comic book, and let's see, it was Sergeant Rock, Sergeant Fury, the Haunted Tank, Weird War. It was most of the military ones that were out there. Oh, and the Born Losers, or the Losers.
Kardashians.
Oh God, where was I? Just saw a picture of her advertising something, and I was like, why? Why would somebody buy something? Because it's like the modern day Gabor sisters. They're just famous for being famous.
Or, wow, what was that woman's name that was the heir to the Hilton?
Paris Hilton.
Yeah.
That,
You make a sex tape and you become famous.
didn't work for me.
Oh,
But
yeah, I was going to say, don't try it. No.
too late. Apparently, no. I'm just not even gonna say what just popped into my head.
Just go around the edges.
Move on.
You're not supposed to do it alone.
Lance Ravel. Oh, God. The Kardashians make my skin crawl nearly as bad as Taylor Swift. They're all reptilians in human suits, like V.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Remember, V was a documentary. They just don't want you to know it's a historical document.
Future history.
Yeah. And somebody said, what would be your reaction if these people actually did pull off the mask and their reptile heads? I'd be like, thought so. I don't even think if you guys remember Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Angel, the two shows that were part of the same universe, and were really better than they had any right to be. Of course, David Boreanaz really kind of ran away with Angel and took that football and ran and made it. I like Buffy, but I actually think Angel was a more fun show. But anyway, the Scooby Gang. But they had an episode where this actor that you've seen 100 times, big guy, is coming back to this character called Saijan, who's like this very powerful, you know, and he comes in the girl's office like just sort of transports her, you know, materializes right in front of her. I am Saijan, and she just goes, what do you want? And he just says, God, are all you people this jaded? And he's waiting for some god or demigod to show up, and he does the thing, and looks around, looks at his watch, and lights up a cigarette. It's like, they sort of grounded it back, you know. The best episode, if you guys, even if you've never seen the TV show Angel, an episode that was freaking hilarious is the Muppet episode.
Of what?
Of Angel.
Oh, I never saw that.
He's a vampire that has a soul, so he's trying to, you know, be good. Yeah. Anyway, and he helps to fight other demonic creatures. Anyway, they have an episode.
It's kind of like Dark Shadows.
Sort of. Well, they have an episode where he is these demons have taken over a children's TV show, which I'm not sure that the Muppets on a lot of these shows aren't demons. But anyway, he gets caught in a spell put on him. He gets turned into a Muppet. You have to see it.
Steve's laughing at something.
What's so funny?
Julie Billy just put up, Kim K would use the butt blast on Godzilla and it would be over.
that would be massive. It might even outdo Max.
Yeah, she's the only one that could beat Godzilla on a Baby Got Back contest. If my cat gets tactical, I'm doomed. Buffy was a great series. But the Muppet episode is just hilarious when the other vampire that helps him, Spike, and it's like, what happened? You don't say it. You're a wee little puppet man. Let's see. It came from beyond space, just released in 4K and Blu-ray. Nothing like black and white movies in 4K. Just read some. When the Vija was born. Well, that's like the question for any of you Star Trek fans. If you've been watching Strange New Worlds, their reinterpretation of the Gorn, and everybody's at no time people are like, is Godzilla the Gorn god?
Ooh.
And yes,
maybe his DNA got transferred on a meteorite or something like that.
I think my favorite episode of Buffy, and I actually have the CD, was Once Again with Feeling, which was their musical. And they really had, and Joss Whedon wrote a lot of the music, and it was really actually very, very good. No two songs were alike. And they had rock, they had 40s pop, jazz. They had it was really a well done episode. In fact, Hinton Battle, I think was the name of the guy they had to play the guest demon, and they actually got him because he is a Broadway star singer. So they decided to actually bring a real, Broadway music talent to the show.
Statler and Woodworth making comments?
Nah.
Oh, radioactive Buffy. There you go.
The one I remember.
Sorry.
The one comment I remember from those two guys on the Muppet Show was, "This show's good for what ails me. What's that? Insomnia." Stetler and that's sort of a riot. Probably the funniest thing on the show. Although Fozzie, Kermit, Miss Piggy, all of them just great. But that show was really another one of those where there was just a lot of talent. It's one of those times, we all know television shows, Buffy, Angel, Firefly, Adam 12, The Muppet Show, Gilligan's Island, Andy Griffith, where the talent pool of actors and writers created something that can't really be duplicated. That resonated with the public. It became timeless. There were so many Westerns being made, it's hard to get one that stands out, although if any Western stood out, probably, in my opinion, it'd be Gunsmoke. But then you get these shows, of all the family shows that were popular, back then, Family Affair and all this other stuff, and and All in the Family is a good example, of another one that was just the right time, the right place, the right social commentary, good writing, good acting. I mean, it generated several spinoffs. Maude, the Jeffersons. A lot of people forget Maude was a spinoff of All in the Family. And but
somebody's comment got flagged.
Blood is available. Bottles will twist off caps like you do. Oh, what was that made-for-TV movie I just saw recently? What? Max on a dinghy. And it got dark.
Pigs in space.
Oh, I love Pigs in Space. With Lance Lamb Chopper. I forget what it is. It was Pigs in Space. But
I think we're running out of material.
no, I was just trying to remember the name of this TV movie that I saw where the guy's immortal. Turns out he's actually Kane.
Okay.
And then an episode of Season of Supernatural based on that. But that was an interesting show because he couldn't die. And imagine their surprise when they shoot him right in the forehead. He takes pliers and pulls the bullet out, and I was like, "Ow!" If I don't, I'll have a headache. But
you're going out of frame.
Statler and Waldorf. That was it. Statler and Waldorf.
Oh, hey, should we talk about our road trip? The road trip you were kind of planning / cookout?
Okay, we'll bring it up, but I did. That's all extremely nebulous.
Steven, I thought it was a good idea.
Well, we'll see. Go ahead.
What?
Talk about it.
You want to talk about it, Steve?
Sure.
Go ahead.
We should all go to Ian's shop in Jacksonville. Have a little cookout in the parking lot. And then all drive over to Western Florida and go visit IMAX.
That'd be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I'd forgotten that they actually manufacture models here in Florida.
More like they warehouse them.
Well, yeah. I talked to Ian about it. He thought it was a great idea. And that would be an interesting thing to do. If we did it in the winter, that would give a lot of people an excuse to live up north to get out of the snow for a few days. It gets cold down here now, don't get me wrong. It's still Florida, maybe Florida, but it's still winter. But not snow. Not snow cold.
What, it'll be 50?
Oh, no, it drops down below freezing sometimes, almost for most of the day.
We'll move it to Miami then.
Yeah. But,
or my house.
yeah, this is far enough down.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Deb will love that.
Mm-hmm.
We use the community center.
Oh, okay.
You just have to worry about if it gets cold. You have to worry about raining iguanas.
Don't confuse raining iguanas with the flying iguanas. Two entirely different things.
Yes, they're different.
And we're good as long as the crocodiles don't learn how to fly.
The question is, could Ian stand the influx of craziness?
Well, he does run a hobby shop. You take what comes.
Yes, sir.
But the he didn't hesitate when I said that might be an interesting thing. He goes, "That's a great idea." And he's like, "Okay, we'll see." But
maybe we could drive the lady next door crazy and get her to finally move out so we could get the store next door.
I would love that.
Corporate secret. Now the well, we'll see what comes of it. I got to get through everything I got going on first, so it won't be till next year. And but it would, I've always made it a point that no money changes hands. I don't advertise. I don't take Patreon or any of that stuff because I want to keep this a hobby. But I'm happy that I've been able to. I mean, first off, I have been very rewarded thanks to the generosity of a lot of the viewers. But Ian, on the other hand, though, he's got to make a living out of that. So, anything I can do to help steer some business to the local hobby shop, I'm more than happy to do it.
Actually, Ian's told me he hasn't taken any money out of there for salary.
No. Ian doesn't pay himself. Everything he gets from that store goes back into the store.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, he's still got to keep the doors open and everything.
Oh yeah. But he personally doesn't make any money off the hobby shop yet.
No. I don't think anybody does. I think they're all just trying to get it up and running to the point that. But Ian is also has other business that is really where he makes his money.
Right.
And which is why I think we're extremely fortunate. I'm very aware of how fortunate I am to have a shop like that. When Ron and Nina ran it before him, I was like, man, we're lucky to have this shop. And when they decided to retire, and someone like Ian bought it, I was like, we just doubled down on the lucky there.
Yeah.
And I am keenly aware of that.
Sounds kind of like a modeler's pilgrimage.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if folks do decide to do that, there's a hotel right on the other end of Loretto Road, about 3-4 miles away. So, and it ironically is in the parking lot of Hobby Lobby.
Oh, comparisons.
Mm-hmm. And
yeah, sometimes
We
it
could
rains
buy
at
stuff at Ian's and then return it to Hobby Lobby. That'd drive him nuts.
What the heck is Florida's?
I'm reading one. My understanding, as it was told to me, he's talking about Dennis Weaver and Gunsmoke. Yeah, Chester Good was the first deputy for Matt Dillon before Festus. Festus Hagen, I've actually seen the episode where they introduced Festus. And Festus Hagen was actually quite the ruffian in the books and everything. And he was a little illiterate. And he,
of course he was. His name was Festus.
yeah, but Chester, Dennis Weaver kind of invented that character, and there are a couple of different stories about why I had the limp. One was because he was a little taller than James Arness, and they didn't want him to tower over him. Others are like he did it because he wanted to just add something to the character. A couple of different stories have floated around. A couple of different reasons he didn't carry a gun, but
Ian lived in Philadelphia.
which, by the way, was not there's a lot of myths about the Old West, and one of them that everybody ran around carrying a 6-shooter, and that's simply not the case.
They couldn't afford one.
Well, it's not even that. It's that long guns or shotguns and rifles are what people usually had. A lot of people did carry sidearms just as a matter of self-defense, but the concept of the belt with all the bullets in it and the strapped-on holster, that's a Hollywood creation. I mean, the Mexicans had the Buscadera rigs, but they weren't all that common. And a cowboy wouldn't even understand why you would wear your gun like that. The whole thing, if you ever see real pictures, the whole gun's down the holster, just a little bit of the grip sticks out because they're trying to protect it. It's the reason the military used flap holsters, was to protect the gun. This whole idea of two guys standing off, and quick drawing, I mean, there were a few of them like that, but you probably count on your fingers and toes all the real shootouts like that. And a lot of people just stuck the gun in their waistband. A holster, big heavy belt with all that ammo, wearing it all the time.
That would suck.
And if you notice, in most Western shows, including Gunsmoke, when you see all the extras walking around the background, they're not strapping guns. And gunfighters are really more like mercenaries. They, it wasn't the fast draw. They were gunmen, but they fought more like, a lot of them were bushwhackers. But now there were guys who got in gunfights, and a lot of this started with that famous shootout between Bill Hickok and another fella, where they actually did challenge each other in the street.
My friend.
Yeah, no sleepover in the Tarbis. Yeah, there's a little too much crap in there for that.
Some of the fumes might not be tolerable.
You don't have to be in the Tarbis for that to happen in my house, but they actually
Maybe
did.
you should qualify that.
Wait. I got a better idea.
What?
We have everybody come down. Before we go to Hurricane Hobbies, we go over to Max's for a snake roundup.
God.
There you
and
go.
then bring it over to the barbecue.
Actually, she'd be happy about that. By the way, speaking of snakes, at my house,
Snakes! You
Well,
out there, snakes?
it gets better. We are looking at paving the area around the Tarbis instead of having grass, and that area back there had not been mowed in a while. We had to pay a guy quite a bit to go back and mow around it because the grass had gotten really high all around the Tarbis, especially around the back of it. And there were a bunch of vines on that trellis on back because that used to be where he kept his RV, and he kept let the vines grow up there because block the wind and the sun and everything. The guy went back there and he found a very large snake living in the trellis.
Oh, bet Monica was thrilled about that.
So I'm pretty sure if I told her, yeah, they're going to come out and chase off and round up and take away all the snakes, she'd probably be all for that.
Think she'd feed them?
She don't want to see them or know about them, just make them go away.
No, I mean feed the people that got rid of them, not the snakes.
But, oh, by the way, getting back to the cowboy stuff, the Colt Peacemaker, the 45, the 44s, cowboys and military guys carried guns like that because they had to shoot livestock. A cowboy needed a gun that could kill a horse, right?
Okay.
But a lot of the law enforcement types, the town marshals, the guys who didn't leave the town, a lot of them carried 36s, like the Navy Colts and stuff like those were much more popular, lighter. And back then, that was kind of standard anti-personnel bullet. The big 45s and stuff, which were very expensive. They cost you a month's pay. A cowboy could get a pair of nickel-plated 45s with a holster, dual ambidextrous holster and belt from Colt in the 1880s for $100. And you think about it, the average cowboy made $16 to $20 a month. So that was
Several
6
years.
months' wages,
Take you several years to save up.
to save up. And in fact, there was a movie with Jimmy Stewart where I forget the name of it, where he plays an army officer that takes time off to investigate some people that are running guns because his brother was killed by one of them. But anyway, one of the cow punchers that's trying to help him gets murdered, and the guy's father hands him his peacemaker and goes, "My son saved up, to have this Colt. He wanted something reliable, and show that not everybody ran around with an expensive peacemaker on their hip." People also forget, I watched some of that Hell on Wheels with Anson Mount. It's about the railroads after the war. Pretty intense show. But what?
Lemire Crazy says fumes and toilet snakes. Dangerous place.
Hey man, Florida ain't for sissies. But anyway, they talk about he's always carrying a Griswold, right? So I went on to unknown or forgotten weapons, Ian McCullum, and he did a thing on the Griswold. And a lot of these guns were kind of copies of Colts or Remingtons or whatever, made by small factories. But you realize there were hundreds of companies that made guns back then because a lot of them just sold regionally. Maybe made 200 or 300 pistols, usually patterned after some existing firearm. But man, you can't count all the gun companies around. A lot of people carried stuff like that because we put this whole Colt, Smith & Wesson, Remington, ooh, that's what the cowboys carried. That's our reinterpretation of the Old West. Man, people carried what they could afford, what they could find, what they could get ammo for. And that was one of the big advantages. Well, a lot of guys didn't want metal-cased cartridges. Even the Army had certain resistance to metal-cased cartridges because you can cast your own lead bullets, right? And you're just dumping powder down there and use a percussion cap. So it's really easy to equip the Army with ammo. Just give them some gunpowder, some lead balls, and or some lead and a casting tool, and a bunch of percussion caps, right? But when you have these metal case, now you got to have the exact right ammunition for each gun.
Right. I read something many years ago that what we think of as the Old West, with all the Old West movies, that era only lasted for about 30 years.
It's considered from 1865 to 1895. By 1895, the West was pretty much tamed. Now they still, even to this day, have crap that goes out there that's sort of Old West in nature. But yeah, all the major tribes have been pacified. There were trains going across the country. You didn't have to take a stagecoach everywhere. And by the way, people have a fascination with the Old West that I guarantee if you went and lived in the Old West for a week, you'd be more than happy to come back. I mean, think about it. Let's just pro-con this thing. Yeah, there's not a lot of rules, which means if something happens to you, probably no one's ever going to pay for it. One of the reasons revenge was so popular. Start off with very little, if any, running water. Okay?
Okay.
And what was there wasn't purified. You're talking about no climate control. Whatever the temperature was, cold or hot.
Yeah.
No electricity, which means everything's cooked on a fire on a stove that has coal burning in, which means temperature control is really difficult. Temperature control is moving the pot, the pan off the fire, or whatever. So don't count on consistent food, and the food was probably pretty basic. I'm not saying it was bad, but it was probably pretty basic. And
what you caught.
And even if you went to a city where they had a restaurant, it's And then there's the medicine was positively medieval, and it's just the transportation was slow. If you've never ridden in a stagecoach, I recommend you do it, because I'm telling you, it is not a terribly pleasant experience. I mean, it beats walking, but not by much. Of course, communications was all but non-existent. That's why the newspapers are so influential and so powerful. Three things changed the Old West in a way that were paradigm shifting. First and second, probably neck and neck, are the railroad and the telegraph, and those two are pretty inextricably linked. Okay.
Chuck says good old days were more old than good.
Yeah, and of course the third one would have been the pacification of the native tribes. Now it's funny. It's funny we should talk about this, because just yesterday, as we were flying across the American West, I'm looking down there and I'm like, just looking. We're going across New Mexico, which is just desert and scrub, mountains.
Not much out there.
Yeah, and by the way, has the highest welfare rate of any state in the country at almost 23%. There's nothing going on out there. Almost a quarter of the people in New Mexico are on welfare.
Wow.
Well, that's according to the world, according to Briggs. Anyway, so I like his YouTube channel. Anyway, I'm looking out there, and I just looked at the captain. I was like, can you imagine crossing that in a wagon or on a horse, or even worse, on foot? And he was saying, just kind of thinking the same thing. And that's a thought that always goes through our minds when we fly out over the West, just how freaking big it is. And even Mike pointed out, he goes, Max, you realize you just crossed the country in 5 hours at 34,000 feet in a jet. It wasn't that long ago before that would have been a world record. These things are not lost on me. And we do it, and what's sad is we do it so routinely that it becomes banal. I mean, we don't even give it a second thought. It's really a bloody miracle. That television series, The Last of Us, they walk past a crashed airliner, and the little girl who was born after the zombie apocalypse or whatever it was, is talking to me. Is like, wow, you mean you actually rode one of those? She goes, dude, you went in the sky in a plane. Something to him, it wasn't all that great. He's like, you went to the sky in a plane. And of course, to him, because it was something we all did routinely, it just wasn't that big a deal. But to someone who never gets to do it, it's magical.
Sure.
And one of the downsides of technology is that amazing things become so routine they become expected. It's very hard for us to go backwards. Power goes out here. How many people actually know how to grow food or could defend themselves against the vandals?
Boy Scouts.
Yeah. And now that brings me to the next point I was touching on earlier. Finished reading that book, 7 Seconds to Die, that by John Antal, that Fran gave me. And the first third of the book explains the war between Armenia and Azerbaijan that just took place, and I didn't even know about it, and I consider myself a military buff. No, but most people, you have to have a person nobody knows. It's actually getting a little traction with Peter Zion and a few of the talking heads, because the second two-thirds of the book's more technically oriented stuff about the drones and everything. But for those who don't know, the Azerbaijanis absolutely put this whole I always say it wrong, Nagorno-Karabakh region, but it's like the equivalent of between India and Pakistan. You have Kashmir, that's the contested region. Well, they had one between Armenia and Azerbaijan. And the Armenians had been there for 30 years, and the Azerbaijanis kicked them out in about a week. That whole thing was over in a couple of weeks. The reason, and it was decisive. I mean, this wasn't even close. The thing is the Armenians actually had a decent medium power military. What makes this war so important and why every military leader needs to study it, we're all already kind of aware of this, was the Azerbaijanis did it almost entirely with drones. Both, orbiting, loitering drones that would fire weapons, but also kamikaze drones that were, and the level of effectiveness and cost effectiveness in this is bloody insane.
Yeah.
But it gets worse. On top of this, believe me, I'm sure all the professional military types have been watching this very closely. But I don't know if you guys know this, but the Ukrainians just took out some Russian systems with cardboard drones.
Oh.
They bought them from the Australians. Now, there's a YouTube channel out there called The Habitual Line Crosser, which if you're a military buff, it's hilarious. It's an ex-Army guy who basically just these very topical but funny videos where he'll put his eyes and mouth over a country and do the accent and how they bicker with each other.
Yeah. And
or with equipment systems, tanks and planes. And it's just really, really funny. My favorite is when he picks on the F-22. Anyway.
Go on about that.
Anyway, so...
No, talk about that one. I haven't seen that one.
Where the F-22 is like... The F-22, the airplane, is complaining. He goes, they had something going on in Syria, and they locked me in the hangar. And he goes, hey, I can't let you go, man. It's not my call. The boss didn't want you to go. He goes, let me eat. But anyway, he did one recently talking about the cardboard drones that the Ukrainians use with surprising success. And of course, when he does Russia, he's like, this is all propaganda. But he goes, and now he's doing America, and he goes, guys, that is awesome. Oh, wait a minute. And his little eyes look up, he goes, hey, Ray. And you see Raytheon. He goes, tell me our radar can pick up cardboard drones. And Raytheon, Ray goes, it's funny. A funny story there. A couple of years ago, we had a guy that asked if our radars could pick up, any chance they might be able to pick up cardboard drones. And funny thing, we fired him. Yeah, now he won't pick up the phone. But I'm like, so let's see if I've got this right. You guys know the website Flight Test with Josh and Josh? These guys make a lot of homemade RCs out of cardboard. They sell them.
I bought one.
A lot. That's right. Your little sweat-board wing nightmare X29 was one of their cardboard kits. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, and they're the nicest guys you could ever meet, right? They're always at Joe Knoll, the big RC meets and everything, and they kind of become rock stars in the RC world. But really cool guys. But so I'm like, let's see if I got this right. The Australians combined Flight Test with Terminator and made an effective suicide weapon system that cost about as much as a third-hand Yugo. And it's right on the heels of this crap between Armenia and Azerbaijan. I'm like, the battlefield, some people are having a little trouble understanding this, but this is as much of a paradigm shift as when the Virginia and the Monitor went at it at Hampton Road. Mm-hmm. The minute those two ironclads slugged it out, every Navy in the world was obsolete. This is what the jet engine was to fighter planes.
Well, what I think is interesting, I'm not bragging, but when I was 10 years old, I predicted this, that my neighbor next door had radio control airplanes. And they fascinated me. I thought they were just so cool. And the military
had used them for various missions, but very limited.
Yeah. So I'm talking to this guy, and this is 1965, something like that. And I said, you could put a hand grenade on this, and you could fly it over the enemy troops and drop it on them. And I'm sure he's like, get out of here, kid.
When I got,
look what they're doing.
Well, when I got my first air hog for $69,
Did you
and
drop
flew it around.
firecrackers?
And no, but I was flying it. Man, you could use this as a little spy drone. You know, I was like, so basically, the most effective weapon on the battlefield right now is a glorified air hog. But you know, and a lot of these, like the quads and the drones, a lot of this crap started off as toys.
Mm-hmm.
And
now some of them are more sophisticated than some of the weapon systems they got out there of the same.
well,
Size.
the thing that they're worried about now is how a cheap system like this can take out a much more capable or expensive system. For example,
They're using them to take out tanks.
not only, well, that's one, but they can also apparently slip through defenses pretty undetected because they're so low and have such a small signal.
Mm-hmm.
And they've actually taken out at least one. The Russians have used one of their low-flying cheap drones to take out a Ukrainian flanker, I think, on the ground.
Mm.
And they've hit a couple of other, and the Ukrainians have knocked out several Russian aircraft on the ground.
Well, they're also making boats too to take out to.
Yeah, they got that submarine with those. Now these are not new systems. They have played with drone torpedoes and stuff in the past, but the advances of the microchip have made it where you can make a weapon system as easy as you make a toy now. That's the thing. The systems used to be very complicated, not very reliable.
Right,
That's all gone. I mean, they are complicated, but now they're super reliable and they're super cheap.
And the technology has reached the point now where anybody with some electronic skill and has worked with radio control equipment can make this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you put cameras in radio control airplanes and fly them for miles now. It's that same technology could be used as a weapon system.
You know who's hurting from this?
Who?
The aviation artists and the kit model makers.
Okay.
Think about this.
Because we're not having models of drones.
Well, think about it. You're Mike Michaud or one of the other great artists, right?
Yeah.
And you've done this beautiful painting of Hoover under the wing of Yeager's X1. You got Bob Hoover on one side and Chuck Yeager, and you guys are all signing and selling thousands and thousands of prints, with signatures and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Who signs for a drone?
The guy sitting in.
Actually, in fairness, guys, Mike actually made this point to me. I didn't think this up. But also, same thing with kit model makers. How many people, oh, look, I can't wait to get my new Global Hawk model. And they do make them, but I'm like, I don't know how they sell. But
What do you think, Steve? You're awful quiet.
Reading the comments.
See any good
more
ones?
Godzilla.
Yeah. And about how the ratio of men to women were 4-to-1, and prostitution was the best business in the Old West.
Yes. And one of the most dangerous.
And Hell on Wheels. You know what that was?
Yeah.
That was a town and wagons that followed the railroad crews around as they built the track system.
That's why one of the best westerns ever made was the Cheyenne Social Club. About the cat house in Cheyenne that came through with the railroad.
No, I don't remember.
Oh, it's a comedy dramedy with Jimmy Stewart and Henry Fonda, and Stewart's brother passes away. Turns out he had owned the Cheyenne Social Club, which was a very upscale cat house that had set up because the railroad had come through, and he inherits it. And you just have to see the movie. It's a cute movie, and another one where most of the gun battles are mostly with rifles.
Well, if let's say you take somebody who was born in, let's say, the early 30s,
Mm-hmm.
and they're still alive.
Mm-hmm.
The things that they saw in their lifetime were indescribable.
Yeah, my grandmothers and great aunt remember a time before the Wright brothers flew, and they saw men walk on the moon.
My grandmother was born right after the Civil War, and she died in like 1983. And she saw the things that happened in her lifetime were amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It's just unbelievable how technology has jumped and leaped and bounds, within the last 100 years.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't have to go that far back. Back when I first started programming, the computers I worked on took up entire rooms. And now you got a phone that's many, many more times more powerful than the computers I worked on in your hands.
That's why we can do this right now.
Yeah, and we're talking to people all over the world right now. Back then, that was something only universities and military could do.
Yeah.
And think about
your
this.
TI handheld calculator you got in the 80s did more.
If you want to have if you want to look at it from a more of a pop culture perspective, think about this. Before 1954, there was no Godzilla. How did they survive?
More Godzilla.
But they did have King Kong, but he's just a big smelly monkey.
Well, the thing that always amazed me was that when they went to the moon, the computer that they had in the spaceship, the Commodore 64, was more powerful.
Mm-hmm. Your wristwatch is more powerful.
Oh, yeah.
That was a hand-wound computer. I mean, they go to Huntsville and look at good Lord.
Hey, the computer that they had 5 of them in the space shuttle, right? You know, in case one.
And they all had to agree.
And they all had to agree to do something in hand. I talked to a guy who worked on one of those things, and he says, yeah, and this was back in the mid-'80s, and he says, yeah, the IBM PC is more powerful than those computers.
But those computers could, because whenever they had a problem, they would just reboot them, and they rebooted in like less than a second. They rebooted very quickly.
Oh, yeah, because they didn't have to reload all the operating system.
Mm-hmm. Well, guys, it's just going on 9 o'clock. There was always Madame Orr's house. Let's see. Well,
Someone from the 30s.
yeah. Well, just all the things that you would see in their lifetime. You know,
Listen,
good Lord.
Stuff I was working on. Stuff I work on now was like science fiction back when I first started working on the computers.
If we had warp drive and transporters and phasers, we'd be ahead of Star Trek in a lot of ways.
You'd be surprised how much Star Trek influenced a lot of the programmers and engineers that came after that watched that show and designed stuff that either copied or exceeded what they used in the show.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the tricorder,
I was gonna
recorded
say
3
that.
things. Now, like, look at what an F-35 can record. Just flying along with everything turned off, just absorbing data. It can pick up EM signatures, all kinds of vibrations, radar. I mean, he can just fly along, collecting data. Nobody knows he's there, you know. And he can send that data up to a satellite, which will send it to our data link and other aircraft, and they can go out and just do whatever mischief they're up to that day. And he's up there quietly working like this floating receiver brain, and it's incredible.
Cool stuff. Makes you wonder what's going to happen in the next 50 years.
Fran, glad you were able to join us for this evening. You guys take care. And speaking of which, I think it's probably going on at time. It's about 9 o'clock. I'm out of water.
Garfield's asking, do I remember the IBM 360? I remember the IBM 1401. I worked on it. That was before the 360.
That was one with the big crank handle on the side, right? We call those slot machines, Ken.
Yeah.
Slot machine is a computer.
Yeah. A very
66 years from Kitty Hawk to Tranquility Base. That's astounding.
60. Yeah. Wow. That's amazing. Technology can advance that quickly, and it's exponential too. It's every 2 or 3 years, your hard drives go up in 10 times in capability, and the computers go up 10 times in capability.
You say Cable's saying that vinyl's making a comeback. And actually, vinyl's been coming back for a while. There's something about a good old-fashioned record that has a certain charm.
Well, it's analog. It fills in all the steps. That you have in digital. Digital doesn't have the range, the volume, or the frequency range.
The tone.
Yeah,
the
tone, yes.
John Ashley points out, and I agree. There's something about the little pops and I don't know. It just reminds me when we all remember putting the needle down. And the first thing you hear is.
Well, there's a Sirius XM station or channel. I think it's the 70s or something like that, where they start songs with that hissing noise, like they just started a record. Or vinyl. Was it vinyl? Classic Vinyl? Yeah, I think that's the name of the channel, Classic Vinyl.
I wonder if I tried to download it. We didn't get any volume earlier, did we, when we used video on this? The download couldn't handle it. No, the buffering couldn't handle it. I'll save that video I put together for when I get home and get it on the big computer and make it up and just make it its own video.
Okay.
Because we got we have another Honest Mike commercial for you guys, and
Captain Picard says things are only impossible if they are not.
Mm-hmm.
Until they are not.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Sorry, I got that wrong. That's true. Yeah.
Well, guys, I want to thank Mike Machat of Celebrating Aviation, Mike Machat, for picking me up today and the Grand Tour, which we'll be going into in more detail in another video, all the way down to the Queen Mary, the Douglas factory, and the USS Iowa. And I want to thank Ken for driving all the way down to West Palm to pick me up last night in the middle of the night, and because I would just now be getting back.
Yeah.
We were scheduled to land at 9:50. They were scheduled to drive. The point is, I'd actually technically still be on the road for another 15, 20 minutes. So much rather hear you doing this, playing on the boat and everything. Steve, I want to thank you for coming out and joining us.
As always, thank you.
And a lot of other people I want to thank, all the usual suspects, Bruce and Garfield and Trey and Fran and everybody else. And just run through all the names after a while. I mean, just everybody. But I'm going to sign off now. Unfortunately, due to that they didn't have anything set up here, I'm going to just put the logo up, let you guys chat for a while, but we'll be signing off on this end. And once again, guys, take care of yourselves, and as always, muddle on.
Good night, guys. Good night. Say good night, Steve.
Night, everybody.
And we should be out.
I'm watching The Avengers.
Which one?
The one with Diana Rigg, the only one.
The one.
They're investigating some company, which it's funny, Ken, what you were just talking about, and you need punch cards to get into their facility.
Yeah.
And they've created this group of cybernauts used to kill people and do their bidding.
Cyber Nazis?
Pretty much.
I remember this this one episode they did where some evil computer or programmed evilly or whatever was doing bad things, and they came in, they told it to self-destruct.
And it did?
Well, yeah, of course it's TV, but I started thinking about it, I said, there's no such command.
Well, you don't know, you didn't program that computer.
Anyway.
There's nothing in all my decades I've been programming, no computer has a self-destruct command.
Because you never worked for the government.
Hey, if Nixon had a self-destruct command on those tapes like Mission Impossible, he probably would have stayed president.
No, the CIA wanted him out.
Oh, hey, Steve, I saw something the other day. It made me think about you.
Why would the CIA want to get rid of Nixon?
Because he was going to rat them out about about Kennedy's assassination and a couple of other things, and that's why they got him out.
I always figured Johnson was behind that.
Anyway, Steve.
Yes.
I saw something made me think of you. I thought it was really interesting. It's retro technology. It was a small, I guess you'd say portable, relatively speaking, reel-to-reel tape recorder.
Wow. Reel-to-reel's making a comeback.
I was floored. I was like,
This is a new one?
yeah, it's a brand new device. Because you made me think of that because of another thing that you had sold. I can't remember exactly what it was right now. It was kind of retro, but I don't think it did so well. But I mean, for kids nowadays that listen to streaming music, to actually play a magnetic tape and actually hear music coming out of it, it's got to be amusing to them.
Yeah, they missed out on a whole lot. Meanwhile, cassettes are making a comeback.
God, why?
Because they're small and they're easy to carry around.
Hmm.
You know, and you can, I mean, even though you can make your own list streaming, you can make yourself a tape.
Huh.
You guys want to do an after show for the 60 people that are still here?
I don't care. It's up to you.
Sure.
Okay.
And Michael Go is the head guy in this evil electronics thing that makes these robot guys. In this Avengers episode.
Oh, by the way, they pronounce it aluminium.
Aluminium.
Aluminium, yeah.
When I first...
That's Barry. After show time. Oh, I'm gonna merge. I'm gonna merge him. Hey, Barry. Barry. Barry.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're here with Steve and me. We're doing the after show now.
Oh, we are? Okay. Okay.
You're now part of it, like it or not.
Okay. But we can still hear it. Okay. Talk to you later.
No. This is just a gab session. What's up?
Oh, okay. I thought it was, you said you were turning everything off, and I still got the logo, and I can hear you guys talking.
The microphone never turned off. I'm not used to this equipment. This is for the hardcore that stayed around and still want to gab for a few minutes. But it's about anything you want to talk about. It doesn't have to be about models. But heck, most of what we talked about tonight wasn't about models. But everything I tried to put together, I was like, we were racing just to get the technology to work.
Yeah. We're lucky you got it done in time. So what's on your mind, Barry?
I think he
How's
just called.
everything going?
Fine. I think he just called to let us know the audio was still on. Oh, lordy.
Did you enjoy the show?
Yeah, it's real good. I always enjoy it.
Well, I'm glad you do. But the whole idea behind this thing is just to have some fun.
Does your vision still work?
Is my what?
Your vision?
What, after seeing me without my britches on?
Yeah.
Like I said, if they showed me running around without my shirt, just in my shorts, there would have been eyebrows catching fire around the globe.
Well, that towel you were
Yeah,
wearing.
but you need to use sunscreen.
I was slathered in it.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
And the towel he was wearing is now considered toxic waste.
Oh, wee.
I wasn't going to leave that thing on the boat. Holy cow.
One shart and they burn the whole thing,
Well, I put it in the comments there. If I'd have fallen in, it'd be like towing a manatee.
Yeah, Max had made that comment too when we were out there. We were trying to get him into the dinghy. We should have had a video of that.
Are any of you going to Modelpalooza?
When is it?
It's on the 14th of October.
Hang on.
13th, 14th, and 15th.
13, 14, 15. Let me take a peek at my schedule real quick.
You still there, Steve?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm listening.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if we'd lost you or not.
You know what? I think I will because I'm actually off that weekend.
Okay, because I'm going up to see my son. He lives in the area. I'm going up on the 14th.
Hey, Ken, you want to go up and see Dean that weekend? You can go to Modelpalooza. There's some really impressive models there.
October?
Yeah, it's a weekend, 13, 14, 15.
I'm going to be in Maryland at the boat
Oh,
show.
you're going to be at Maryland at the boat show. That's right.
Yeah.
Because there's not enough boat shows in Florida.
Fort Lauderdale, the Venice of America,
Yeah, one good tidal wave away from being the Atlantis of America.
Well, the one they have in Fort Lauderdale is all the upper end mega yachts, and I have no interest. I can't afford any of that stuff.
Ken, most of the people who own them can't afford them.
Yeah.
That's why they have sham bankruptcy.
Yeah, true. Anyway, so I'm going to the Annapolis Boat Show, which is probably one of the biggest boat shows in the world, probably the biggest one in the country.
Oh, looks like Mike and Tink are doing the 1/32 scale B-24. Where do you put a model like that? It's got to have a 3-foot wingspan.
Yeah, that's a pretty big model.
Oh.
Good size. Did you enjoy the part about the boat? I hope we weren't boring everybody.
Why does Fort Lauderdale have a fort? That's a good question. Was Fort Lauderdale actually ever a real fort, or is that just the name they gave it?
I have no idea if it used to be a fort.
And it was Naval Air Stations where they trained all the torpedo plane pilots.
It probably was at one time back way when.
Way when. Unless Flagler just
The only
wanted to
problem I have
get
with boats is I get seasick too easy.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's a problem. Occasionally, I get that way too. Not very often, but occasionally.
But you get
And I used to be in the Navy.
You have to fix on it.
What?
I say Ken gets sick when he looks at what he has to fix on it.
that's not seasick. That's boat sick.
Well, it's not so much seeing what needs to be fixed; it's what it's going to cost to get it fixed.
He's already talking like a real boat owner. He was talking about fishing the air conditioner. He said, "Yeah, it's going to cost 2 boat units. Break out another 1,000." So instead of saying $2,000, 2 boat units.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think the AC in the main cabin's long for this world.
Missed a model car contest for a bathroom coat. That's just wrong.
What's that?
Model Palooza's in Orlando.
I'd like to go to that. Unfortunately, it's the same weekend.
I've been to 2 of them, and they're worth going to. I'll go to the next one. In fact, Model Palooza is the first model convention I actually went to, and that was just a couple of years ago. That's where I met Trey for the first time. And I walked in, he shouted my name, and he recognized me. And I was like, wow. My wife's like, she freaks out the day. People recognize you. And I'm like, yeah, so? She goes, for YouTube channels. So? She's like, more. It's not like we're the Kardashians. We don't have stalkers or paparazzi. We just have model enthusiasts that have to watch the channel. It's not a big deal, but
and send you stuff for free.
Well, that's very nice of them.
It is. That's very, very nice of them to do that.
But I think there's some more stuff on the way. Even Bruce is going to send something to me, so. I feel kind of guilty though, because every time somebody sends you something, you want to build it and show them what you've done, but there's only so many hours in a day.
Mm-hmm. And you need to
I
take your
wonder
time.
what percentage of stuff you've received that you threw out that was still in the box.
It almost never happens.
What's the shrink?
I should point out, though, that everything I threw out by mistake was I have a 100% recovery rate. Funny thing happened.
We'll have to see if the next box you get's got an itinerary in it.
I was looking
Packing
at
slip.
Packing slip. There you go.
But I was actually, and I think it's just me getting nostalgic. I'm older age, but I was looking at one of the old videos, and I was like, I miss the old Tarvis. Just not. You
got to redo the intro to the new Tarvis.
I talked about that as come up with, and a lot of folks were kind of like, no, that's really kind of your trademark, and they all kind of liked it too. And they're like, bring back the old beginning. I'm like, okay, why not?
Okay.
Why don't you put the old one and then just transition to the new one?
Yeah, there you go.
In the beginning.
Kind of morph it.
Could show the snakes on the trellis.
I was thinking the trellis in the background.
It's kind of like the guard dog of the new Tarvis.
Well, hey, keeps the rats away.
Have one slither up underneath the Tarvis.
I haven't seen any mice in my house. Just some fat snakes.
Well, you don't want to see any mice. You got a cat. Cats chase the mice.
Yeah, this is true. But she also chases the snakes that get in.
Mm-hmm. That's useful.
But I murdered a poor innocent corn snake because I thought it was a coral snake. Man, I really Godzilla that thing too.
Did you name it?
After I murdered it?
No, the one on the Tarvis, on the trellis. What do we call it?
Herman.
The trellis snake, or
Herman?
We'll just call him Herman.
Okay. Okay.
That way, if it's a girl, it's her man. I got both ends covered. Of course, if I see snake eggs, that's going to be a whole other thing.
How about Trelly? How about Trelly?
Yeah.
Trelly?
If you see snake eggs, it's time to napalm the backyard.
Actually, Trelly's not a bad name. I like that. Trelly. So the snake in the trellis is now Trelly.
You gonna tell Monica that?
Why not?
Why not?
She needs to have a daily dose of stupid me just to know that I'm still around and functioning. If I don't say something stupid, she starts to wonder, is he okay?
Is nobody kind of creeping in there, maybe?
But, oh, Lord. Okay, well.
What are we going to talk about? You got anything, Barry, you want to talk about?
No, not really. I'm just listening to you guys.
Yeah, that's always scintillating.
I was thinking, why? Is someone holding a gun to your head?
Somebody's really bored.
Well, okay, we're going to have to open the door. I'm starting to sweat.
Oh, I can turn the fan on.
Turn the fan on.
All right, I'll turn the fan on.
Oh, the outer limits are on.
Woo! Time to go. Careful, kid. Careful. You got cables on your foot. You're about to snatch stuff. Everything on you guys are about to see everything on the desk.
That's just the headsets. And everything else attached to it.
I think you got that fan set on, unless it's really slow to start spinning. It's going really slow.
Yes. It's on low.
Chopper.
Okay, Max. Okay. Max was helping me test out the air conditioning on the boat today.
Yeah. When I stopped feigning, we knew it was working.
Yeah. He was sitting right in front of it, and I say, Max, is it working? And he said, well, kind of.
It's blowing air.
It's blowing air. It's the coldest part on the boat. Fortunately, I only got up to 86 today, but it does get a little warm down there.
Just carry bags of ice and a fan.
Yep.
Yeah, but Max didn't have a red shirt on and a white Dixie Cup hat.
No, I've seen that show.
What is that about?
Red shirt.
Oh, just a red shirt? What's... the
Gilligan.
Oh, okay. All right.
Skipper!
All right. Yeah, I know. I have had so many people talk to me about the 3-hour tour and start singing the song. And
Yeah.
everybody's doing it. I was like, oh,
That
come
was
on.
most of the comments.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, but Ken, they're having fun at your expense. And
Of course.
the key part is it's your expense, so.
Yeah, that's all right. That's okay. I'm the one with the boat.
There's a point in time where I have to quit picking on you because it's just like, clubbing a baby seal. It's like,
I thought he was going to say because it's so much fun to be on the boat, I'm not going to pick on you about it.
It is fun to be on the boat, I have to confess. It's nice. And when Ken had to leave the deck for a second, I like pushed Kevin out of the way. Let me steer.
Yeah, I had to go take care of something, and I left my son steering the boat. The whole time I was below, I was like, oh, I hope I don't feel the boat slow down real quick.
How is it so bright in that room? It is nighttime in Florida. It's just bright because we got all the lamps on.
We got everything turned on in the room. If you want to make it darker, we can... No,
See, if we turn that lamp off, it gets real dark real fast.
Yeah, it gets real dark. We get backlit. And my wife is back.
What up? What up, Buttercup?
Oh, we're just talking to friends now.
Yeah, we're doing the after show.
Steve just said, hey, Deb.
Hi, Steve.
And we also have Barry with us.
He called in to tell us that we didn't turn off the microphone.
Yeah.
He said, I'm just sitting here listening to you guys.
Is it time for second dinner?
I just bought some crackers and another bag of chips. And there's some 5-layer dip.
Ooh, food.
I don't know. There's about... Norma took quite a bit of it, so there's about a third of a container. And then there's whatever's left of that.
Wait a minute. There's a third of a container dip left. You said that like you were challenging me. Ha! There's a third of a container of dip left.
That's not a challenge. I'm just telling you, it's not a full container.
There goes his diet.
Where?
Where's that diet at?
It's in my refrigerator.
Does it taste good?
Well, oh, thank you. Ken?
Don't eat the whole pack.
Oh,
They're
now you're putting restrictions on me. Parts of my buzz.
They're gluten-free. They're made with rice. I'm trying to not
these
eat
are good.
things. Yeah, they are. Because I seem to get bloaty after I eat things with wheat, so. I'm not gluten allergy, whatever, but.
Well, when we're talking about gluten allergies, I think we are done.
I'm not. I'm pretty sure I don't have an allergy. It's just, I think it's just an inflammatory for me.
All right, guys, I'm gonna shut everything down for realsies now.
Any interesting comments
Turn
before
off
we
the
do that?
microphone.
Let's see.
I'm
We
gonna,
couldn't get it to work right. We're using the area mic.
I'm gonna see these videos that y'all did earlier.
Oh yeah, we gotta show
So
you
do
that.
we.
So we.
They'll be up next week, or maybe tomorrow.
Yeah, we didn't have time to get them done.
Well, I can show her on my phone the one I made. But
What's this about a car? You saw a car accident?
yeah,
Yeah, on the
Big
way back.
time.
On the way back last night.
Mustang plowed into a truck.
Yeah,
One of those idiots who thinks he owns the road.
we're not sure what was going on there.
Yeah, somebody's either drunk, stupid, or really angry.
And the guy who caused, well, the Mustang caused the accident, but the guy that
Well, those MREs.
what's that?
Nah, just some crackers that Deb brought. Good
They're-
thins.
They're called Good Thins. These are the garden veggie flavor.
Delicious.
They're good crunchies. I like their crunch.
Oh,
Hey, if you got that video, maybe you could run it now. That might be entertaining.
I can try, but
If you can get it off your phone.
give it a
Your
shot.
cable should work now. Your phone should be dry.
Oh, we got it working a while ago.
Oh, okay.
Next.
Because earlier he was getting a wet thing. Since wet.
Oh, wet.
No, dry it out. Yeah, the wet sensor on the phone going off saying, yeah.
Samsung does that all the time. All it takes is extra
Ooh,
humid
my
air.
battery's almost dead on this thing. We're about to hang up whether we want to or not.
No, it's charged now.
Oh, that was you. I thought that was my phone.
That one was mine, but
No, we're gonna see if we can get the video that he made.
we'll give it a shot one time.
Give the people who are still deciding to hang on a little extra.
Wash this stuff off my fingers.
I'm good. I had
Oh, wait a minute. It wouldn't be.
two what?
Hold on.
Two steak pork.
Oh, it's not there.
Now people are talking about their food.
Why not? We're talking about Triscuits, for God's sakes.
Somebody,
Those are talking about good things.
Garfield says somebody feed Max.
All I know is it's almost past my bedtime.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to get. It can't access that file from here. It's a.
Yeah.
So.
Oh well.
And I just celebrated my 36th anniversary of my second birthday.
All right.
Okay. This is the anniversary of my second birthday.
You're only 72?
Yeah.
Ha! Congratulations.
Steve, where'd you learn to add?
Computer school, Ken.
Probably accounting school, don't you think? Because they can make anything work.
Oh yeah, yeah. You can make it any number you want it to be. That's what a really good accountant can do.
The only thing I ever remember about mathematics or science and numbers is 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd power.
What's that?
It's called mole. It's how many molecules are in a certain,
Look at me.
in something. That's all I remember. We had to memorize it. It's the only mathematical thing I remember.
I remember a mole. I'm not sure exactly what the definition of it is.
That number is how many molecules are in a mole.
Right. Which.
But what a mole is, I have no idea. Is it a little rodent or something?
So, if they're still listening, somebody will come up and tell us what it is.
Yeah.
It's amazing what these people know.
Yeah.
I'm always impressed with the depth of knowledge of the people who like to watch.
Oh,
us.
yeah.
And I'll put a comment in and get corrected like within 2 or 3 entries.
Yeah. What's really cool is that everybody's cool about it too. Nobody talks down to anybody or makes fun of them, or we're all like, well, that's I had an aunt that did this, or I knew somebody who flew this, or that's not quite right, or it's really cool how everybody interacts with everybody else.
You figure out
it's not one of those hostile environments.
Nah, the whole idea of this channel is just to have a good time, chat folks, keep it informal. And so raison d'etre. And I'm sure there have been a few folks who came in and like, this ain't for me, and left. And okay, well, it's not your bag. That's cool, man.
Yeah.
The crowd says, live to build,
build to live.
That's pretty good.
But that's one of the reasons that although I do viewers builds, I don't do contests or judge or anything like that.
Yeah.
And I can count all the pictures on one hand that I didn't include either because they were too far blurry or something like that, or and one was a little too adult. I was like, I don't think S&M Miss Piggy and Kermit's really kids watch this thing. But it was funny. I got to admit, I laughed hard. Okay, I laughed a lot. I mean, you really got to watch. Okay, let's see if I can get this thing to work.
That would be cool if you could. Hopefully it'll have sound.
Yeah, I'm not counting on it, but we'll... Alright guys, here we go.
Was that it?
Hi friends.
Oh, Mike Michelle's
Friendly Mike here. I know what you're thinking. I've been working hard. I deserve something special. I want a boat. Nah, not a cabin cruiser. Not a sailboat. I want something
This thing's
really
like a minute or two behind.
So have I got just the thing for you? No, not this boat.
Oh. Okay.
That's boat.
Call BR549. Own your own Ruski U-boat today.
Tell me what young punk cuts you off with water skiing in the
No,
marina?
that's not it. It's way.
This thing comes with sonar and torpedoes.
Yeah, this thing's minutes
And
behind.
if you call right now, the next 15 minutes, operating
Longer than a minute.
we'll even throw
Oh yeah, it's...
VHS copy.
Well, his commercial's only like a minute long. But the delay on this thing is what I can't believe is...
K-19, the Widowmaker.
Call now.
That's why I turned the audio off on the television.
There's the bow. Here's our entry. And there's the stern. And Mike, you were saying about the funnels?
I'm sorry?
The funnels?
Yeah,
Let's come around here and take a look at the funnels.
I mentioned that the ship is not floating, it's resting on a concrete pad. And the funnels are synthetic. Those are not the original funnels because they were crumbling. So they made, I believe, fiberglass or synthetic funnels when the ship arrived here in 1968. And it's been repainted numerous times, but I was just surprised because they had just repainted, unless they didn't do the third one for whatever reason.
Yeah, that middle one does look a lot
less,
better shape.
Yeah, I think maybe that still has to go.
And you said they removed the lifeboats.
They removed the lifeboats because the wood, when they had termites or whatever, for whatever reason, the wood was deteriorating so fast. I guess exposure to the salt air.
Okay, so the beauty of this is it is the original interior, complete with gift shops. And the grand stairway. Not exactly the Titanic, but then this thing didn't sink. Okay, we have a very large Lego Queen Mary. Complete with a little Lego sailor.
1934.
34 she was launched, okay.
Oh, that's amazing.
A gajillion Legos.
That is amazing.
That's pretty cool. Their gallery, they have this model of the Titanic. And of course, we all know the water started to fill in here. And it shows, the red lines show how far up the watertight bulkheads went. They'd gone all the way, she might have survived. And
The coal.
yeah, even got the coal in there. Ah, there's your grand staircase from the Titanic. And the first class everything, and then down to the steerage compartments, engine rooms, the bowels of the ship. We go around the other side.
Hi friends, Friendly Mike here. I know what you're thinking. I've been working hard. I deserve something special. I want a boat. Nah, not a cabin cruiser, not a sailboat. I want something really unique. So have I got just the thing for you? No, not this boat. That boat.
Call BR549. Own your own Ruski U-boat today.
Some young punk cuts you off at water skiing in the marina. This thing comes with sonar and torpedoes. And if you call right now, in the next 15 minutes, operators are standing by. We'll even throw in VHS copies of Hunt for Red October, Crimson Tide, and
K-19, the Widowmaker.
So call now, operators are standing by. All this can be yours from Friendly Mike.
There's the bow. Here's our entry. And there's the stern. And Mike, you were saying about the funnels?
I'm sorry?
The funnels?
Oh, yeah,
Let's come around here and take a look at the funnels.
I mentioned that the ship is not floating. It's resting on a concrete pad. And the funnels are synthetic. Those are not the original funnels because they were crumbling. So they made, I believe, fiberglass or synthetic funnels when the ship arrived here in 1968. And it's been repainted numerous times, but I was just surprised because they had just repainted, unless they didn't do the third one for whatever reason.
That middle one does look a lot better shape.
Yeah, I think maybe that still has to go.
And you said they removed the lifeboats.
They removed the lifeboats because the wood, whether they had termites or whatever, for whatever reason, the wood was deteriorating so fast. I guess exposure to the salt air.
Okay, so the beauty of this is it is the original interior, complete with gift shops, and the grand stairway. Not exactly the Titanic, but then this thing didn't sink. Okay, we have a very large Lego Queen Mary, complete with a little Lego sailor.
1934.
34 she was launched. Okay. A gajillion Legos.
That is amazing.
That's pretty cool. Their gallery, they have this model of the Titanic. And of course, we all know the water started to fill in here. And it shows, the red lines show how far up the watertight bulkheads went. They'd gone all the way, she might have survived. And
The coal.
yeah, even got the coal in there. Ah, there's your grand staircase from the Titanic. And the first class everything, and then down to the steerage compartments, engine rooms, the bowels of the ship. We go around the other side. Alrighty, so that was that. There's more to it, but it's just still pictures after that, mostly. But anyway, okay. Now we're going to say goodnight to everybody.
Sure.
Yeah.
Those are not the original funnels.
Well, guys, thank you. I hope you enjoyed the after show. We'll talk to everybody.